Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIVA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
It is Big Ten football tonight as the Wisconsin Badgers take on the Michigan Wolverines at Camp Randall Stadium. Big Ten opener for both the Badgers and the Wolverines. I'm Mike Heller along with Scott Nelson. When you talk about college football and you talk about class envy, Michigan is that team that's up at the top. They have played in 9 consecutive January 1st bowl games. They've been in the top 25 continuously for 20 years. It is that type of a program.
Yeah, and what they've been able to do is recruit year in and year out, top recruiting classes. Guys that come in that are echelon across the country, doesn't matter where they walk in, they have the pick of the crop, they get the guys that they want, and it's a credit to their program that no matter who's coaching them, they continue to do that.
Even with the great recruiting, a year ago, Michigan had to turn to a true freshman quarterback, Chad Henne, now a sophomore.
And Chad Henne is the real deal. Even coming in as an 18-year-old ball player, he's a guy that's able to handle the pressure, spread the ball around to running backs, to receivers, and he trusts his offensive line. He's that good. Not many kids can come in and take a 7-1 program as a true freshman, lead them to a Big Ten championship and to a Rose Bowl. It's the same kind of thing, trusting his offensive line that John Stocco does with his offensive line. One of the top guys out of there is a guy that comes from Brookfield, Wisconsin. He was coached by Joe Panos, who said he is probably the most complete player that he's ever seen offensively and defensively in football, as well as an outstanding track athlete. Joe Thomas is a real deal. If he wants to show that he is that good, today's the day to do it against a very fast, very competitive Michigan ball club.
It is Wisconsin and Michigan in some rain conditions maybe tonight. The kickoff is next on Wisconsin Public Television.
Michigan will kick off.
Well, and there is some rain as we get ready to get this one underway, and I think we'll have some rain showers pretty much throughout this ball game tonight. This field does a very good job of handling the wet conditions, so it shouldn't be a major factor on footing, although it may affect the ability to put the ball in the air. The overall series dominated by the Michigan Wolverines. They haven't met since 2002. And Michigan won that one 21-14 here in Madison. Last 4 games decided by small margins. There is not a single player on the opposite sideline, the Wolverine sideline, that has ever been in uniform at Camp Randall Stadium. And as it is a night game, although not technically, because it starts before 6 o'clock, it is still probably the finest atmosphere that you'll get all season here at Camp Randall Stadium. Barry Alvarez, his record at the University of Wisconsin, 111 wins, 70 losses. He has never beaten Lloyd Carr.
Right.
So here's an opportunity to do that today. And conversely, Lloyd Carr has never lost to the University of Wisconsin. And he has led the Wolverines to 9 consecutive January 1st bowl games from the opposite sideline. And Carr has done a wonderful job. There are some, Nellie, who think that Lloyd Carr has not done as good a job coaching as he could do with the talent level they've had. I don't know how you can argue with 9 straight January 1st games.
Well, 9 straight and, 2 back-to-back Big Ten championships. He continues to bring in top athletes. And, you mentioned Camp Randall and their big house. Coming in here, you listen to a lot of the guys talk about this place. This is an intense, exciting atmosphere to them playing as well.
And that is Brandon Williams, who's been very good to the 20. And a little bit of room on the outside. He'll go to the 28. And the Badgers will start offensively inside their own 30-yard line. Matt Bernstein is going to come out of fullback. There was some question as to whether Bernstein would be able to go today, but he is ready. And starting in the backfield behind him is number 2, Brian Calhoun, who again last week at North Carolina had a very good game. I would think Michigan, Scott, would really try to come out and stop Wisconsin on the ground and make Stocko do some things in the air. 1st and 10 at the 28. Split receivers each side and an eye backfield. And Calhoun gets the delay. He's to the 28, and he picks up nothing on the play. It is going to be 2nd and 10. You'll see the offensive set for the Badgers in this one as Owen Daniels now comes in. Stocko, Calhoun, and Bernstein in the backfield. I think Jonathan Orr, who's from Detroit and a senior, might have to have a day along with Brandon Williams and Owen Daniels. And there's that offensive line that is anchored on the left side by Joe Thomas. 2 receivers to the top of the screen, and a single back is Calhoun. Stocko on 2nd and long. Calhoun has some room on the right. Good move inside and outside of the 40-yard line for a 1st down.
I'll tell you, Mike, when you look at this defensive front, they are coming at them. They're going to be aggressive. They have linebackers that flow very well and get off there, but Calhoun, his shiftiness is something that they can't see day in and day out, as the Badgers did last year on scout team. He's very, very talented. He's one of the top guys in this league. And
Brandon Engelman, who you'll see in the backfield for Michigan, he had to go back and pick something up off the turf after Calhoun made him miss. As you look at that defense, Engelman is a strong safety and a junior that anchors part of that secondary. Calhoun, 3rd pickup of the game here. Comes near side. Look at the speed to the outside, dragged down at the 50.
3 straight running plays for the Badgers, and this is one thing that we talked about a little bit before the game began. What's Michigan going to do? They're going to try and stop the run. What's Wisconsin doing? They're taking on the challenge. They want this, and Coach Huber and the offensive line, I know, has challenged these guys up front. It's a fast defensive front. It's a big defensive front. We're going to establish ourselves, and we're going to control this ball game down in the trenches.
Leon Hall took a good angle, because if Calhoun gets around him, he's going to run a good bit more. As it is, he picks up 8. It's 2nd and 2. And again, Calhoun on a bit of a delay, picks and chooses, and he's close to and has a 1st down for Wisconsin. So the drive that started inside their 30 at the 28 has moved into Michigan territory now at the 47-yard line.
And this is something, I think, Mike, that the fans feed off of. They know this is Wisconsin football. They know this is what Barry's going to do. As long as they continue to have the success that they're having, Michigan in here, it doesn't matter who it is, they're going to get behind this team and rally. Not too many night games that they get here, and they're going to enjoy this one.
1st and 10 at the Michigan 47. And again, Calhoun on the delay, up the middle, picking and choosing, and battled down at the 45-yard line. He might get 2 on the play, and Wisconsin is yet to put the ball in the air.
A lot of times when Barry gets into games like this, Michigan comes in with the tradition. They come in with all the established media attention, all that kind of stuff. But he simply tells his players, part of the psychological part, these are just guys. They got to play football just like we do. Let's go out and win the battle. And I think you're going to see a heavyweight fight here, back and forth all day long.
You saw a shot of Prescott Burgess, one of the outside linebackers. Michigan with 4 defensive down linemen on this 2nd and 9. And Stocko will look to throw for the 1st time today. As time goes to the right, stepped in front, and is it intercepted? It is caught by Brandon Williams. What a catch by Brandon Williams. It appeared it could have been intercepted by Michigan. Instead, Williams pulls it away.
I tell you, the solid protection on that was tremendous as far as the pass protection up front with the offensive line. Fullback picking up a guy on the outside. Calhoun picking up a guy on the outside. Stocko throws it. It was a great read by the corner out there. But Williams, being the competitor that he is, a senior this year, knows how important this game is, and he went after the ball and made the reception. Great play.
Grant Mason on the coverage, had it just stolen away by Brandon Williams. 3rd and less than a yard. Calhoun on the stretch to the right. Patient, he'll get the 1st down, and a good bit of running by Brian Calhoun. That's a good 1-yard pickup, and it should be a 1st down for the Badgers.
And you're right. Patient is the opportune word right there. Waiting and waiting on that stretch play, which has been one of the things that Wisconsin has prided itself on. Linemen that can get out there and run, and letting your running back, very talented running backs are here, but letting Brian Calhoun pick his hole and get up there for the 1st down.
Badgers bring Bernstein back into the lineup. He'll be the lead fullback. Owen Daniels in the lineup as well. Daniels had a touchdown catch against North Carolina on a tight end screen last week, called back on a downfield hold on Calhoun. 1st and 10. And Stocko goes straight back under pressure, right side, didn't see him. Is the ball taken away? We'll see what they call it here. Stocko does not come up with the ball, and I believe Michigan has it. No, they do not. Reds got the ball. You can hear the... Turn your mic off.
I tell you, that's just tremendous defense coming off the corner there by number 56 for the Wolverines. And that's the speed that I was talking about earlier. These guys are big, but they are aggressive. Stocko's got to feel that pressure. He's got to step up into the pocket and know that that's coming. But Craig Urbeck, being aware of what's going on, seeing the ball on the ground and dropping down on it, there's not too many guys that can rip a ball away from a kid that big. But
it's a loss of 13. Now Wisconsin in a very long yardage second down situation, and Michigan might bring it. They'll drop back and give Wisconsin a lot of time. An overshot on the screen to the near side to Calhoun, and Stocko just did miss him. Now it's third and very long.
Yeah, threw a little high for Calhoun there, and those are one of the things when you set that up. 3 guys rushing, Michigan dropping back into the zone. You've got a couple offensive linemen in front of you there leading Calhoun down the field. That's one you got to have, because that extra 10 or 15 yards that he maybe could have picked up, probably not a first down, but that little bit there goes a long ways instead of looking at 3rd and 25 now.
Third and very long. Into the near side comes Orr. To the top is Brandon Williams, and also Brandon White to the near side as well for Wisconsin. Stocko throws under pressure, has to step up, throws it over the middle, and just did miss. Brandon Williams, had he hit it in stride, Williams might have had some room to run. He's very good after the catch. It is incomplete, though. And last week's Big Ten Special Teams Player of the Week, Ken DeBush, comes on to punt.
Yeah, and Stocko learned from the last time where he got sacked and fumbled there, stepped up into the pocket, was able to release the ball. Anytime you're moving like that with that pressure and that pocket collapsing around you, it's a tough throw. And Williams almost came up with a great catch.
DeBush is averaging 47+ per punt on 10 attempts this year. 4 of them have been downed inside the 20. He was instrumental last week at North Carolina in the Badgers win. And a good angle punt towards the far sideline will catch the boundary inside the 5-yard line. What a great piece of kicking by Ken DeBush. It'll be marked just inside the 5.
And what you see there is Zach Hampton and DeBush. I think those 2 guys have some sort of telecommunication going on, because last week against North Carolina, he downed it inside the 2-yard line. This time, DeBush very good at directional kicking, but Hampton sprinting down there. And at the end of this, being aggressive, going after the ball, and giving the official a little hello.
Just a little love, little tap. So Michigan will start at their own 5-yard line. The Badgers have done very good on field position battles in 3 weeks as we've started this season. Let's look at some of the injury problems that these 2 teams have had, and then we'll get them featured by Wisconsin's defense. But also, Michigan has had their fair share, and maybe more than their fair share, of injury problems as we get this season underway. You see the Wolverines on the sideline, but their injury problems had started from the very beginning. Offensive line specifically, that was supposed to be their pre-camp starting offensive line. And you can see the injury list down below. Jake Long is out. Tim Massaquoi with a wrist is in uniform today and should play. Mike Kalaji is questionable. So it's a team that has been bitten by the offensive line injury bug.
And those guys are the ones that are experienced and understand what the Big Ten is all about. Getting those guys back in the lineup is going to be key for the Michigan Wolverines.
Badgers have been hit on the defensive line, so it's kind of a wash here, I guess you could say. Jomani, Ostrowski, Hayden, and Cooper were expected to be the starting front 4. All new from a year ago, right. By the way. And the injury list has Ostrowski out for an indefinite period of time. Cooper got hurt last week with an injured knee and is done for the season. And Mark Gorman is out right now with a foot injury. With Coop, he was playing so darn well that it was just a tragic situation to see him go out for the season.
Yeah, and I think John Palermo, his position coach, was sad to see that happen. He really made some strides last year as a freshman coming in. This year, he was a force coming off the corner because of his size, because of his speed. He had a couple hits against North Carolina. He had a couple different hits coming off the corner and showing his speed against both Bowling Green and Temple in the first couple games. And, you know, when you have injuries like this, being at home, the position that they're in down by the student section, the excitement of Camp Randall, this is where you can rely on some young guys that feed off that energy of a crowd, and they're in a perfect location right now to have that happen.
It should get loud now as Michigan will snap it inside the 5-yard line or exactly directly on the 5. 1st and 10, Wolverines slot on the right. Now in motion is the tight end. Henny gives it to the tailback, and the second back crew will get about 3 on the play. It is Mike Hart, or Martin rather, Max Martin, the sophomore from Madison, Alabama, who got the start. We might see Mike Hart, last year's phenom as a freshman, during the ball game today. Henny is the quarterback. Max Martin and Brian Thompson are the running backs. And you can see that offensive line. Stenovich is very good, and also a kid who's from Marshfield, Wisconsin. Second down play, and up the middle, and breaking out is Martin. Bell gets him at the 37-yard line. That is a huge second offensive play of the game for the Wolverines.
I tell you, that's something where Wisconsin's being aggressive in their defense, doing a few different moves and stunts, getting caught up in there, but not being able to shed blocks. And this is the type of talent that we were talking about in the opening. They have guys, if somebody gets hurt, the next person stepping in is just as good.
And that's Dante Sanders, who couldn't get off the block of an offensive lineman that got out on him right there. Sanders couldn't get off the block, and out goes Martin. And Martin gets a huge chunk of change out to the 37-yard line. It is 1st and 10, Michigan, on a big offensive play. And again, Martin on the left side might get a yard, maybe 2, before he is hammered down. Stellmacher, one of the combatants on the hit. Set the Badgers defense for you today. Monty, Chapman, Hayden, and Shaughnessy. Matthew Shaughnessy starting on the defensive line. Watkins, Zalewski, and Sanders are the linebackers. And in the secondary, Langford, Rogers, Stellmacher, and co-captain Brett Bell on the other corner.
And that was good recognition by Stellmacher. They're coming up and filling in the alley just like you want a safety to do.
Badgers bring DeAndre Levy into the ball game. On the left edge, it is high and wide of the mark. Looking on a slant for Jason Avant, one of the Michigan captains.
And Avant, I think, is Henny's go-to guy so far this year. He's got just about 15 catches more than any other receiver on the Michigan offense. And very well read by the secondary of Wisconsin. It was a good break by Zalewski coming over there to help tip the ball and get in the alley so the receiver couldn't see it. But those are the things that you're going to see. Again, we talked about Wisconsin running the ball and establishing that. Michigan, the same thing, then trying a little quick hit pass.
3rd and 8. And it gets loud. Henny on a blitz, steps up. Now he's got plenty of room to run. And a block on the near side, and maybe a hold. Yeah, there comes the flag in late. A downfield holding call on the Michigan wide receiver, who I believe had Levon Rowan. This one will come back.
And that's a good call. You don't normally see that from the back judge. He's usually the guy calling pass interference, but very good call by him on the hold that way.
Henny had time, and when he stepped up, there's the gap as it opens up, and there's the hold, and he was holding on to Watkins.
Holding. Offense number 88. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 3rd down.
Dave Whitvet, your referee today, and there's the hold right there on your right side. Right there as it pulled away.
And that's Massaquoi, one of the guys we were talking about that was listed as injured and probably won't play a whole lot with a wrist injury, but obviously if he's been out for a while, his footwork isn't the same, and for Watkins, who's got some speed to get away from, that's all he could do.
Now, because it was a spot foul from the spot of the penalty, it leaves Michigan with very short yardage. 3rd and just over a yard. Lloyd Carr going to do a little lobbying early on for calls later. And the second back through, it's Kevin Grady, and he's very close.
He's real close on the spot that they gave him there for the 1st down, and good fill up by the safeties. Yeah, good fill by the safeties and the linebackers on that.
Badgers have a defensive lineman down on the play. I believe it's Jason Chapman.
That's either Chapman or that might be number 16, Stellmacher.
Oh, is it Stellmacher filling from behind? Badgers can't afford a whole lot more defensive injuries, and Stellmacher has played so well.
Yeah, that's number 16, Joe Stelmacher. They're trying to get set right there. He's coming up, fills in the gap very, very well, gets down low and takes on a heck of a load there.
That's usually a shoulder, and that's either a head or a neck shoulder. It's up top somewhere. We'll see how they treat this one. But you saw as he came in, he did go helmet straight up.
I tell you, Joe's been a heck of a ball player. He's filled in very well at different times. He played very well a couple of years ago against Ohio State. And then one of the night games that they had here as they beat the Buckeyes and coming off a national championship year and broke his leg. Just had some rough luck here, and you hope that he's okay so he can continue and play this year for Wisconsin.
They did mark it as a first down. So Michigan, after we get through the game break here with Joe Stelmacher down, and we certainly hope he's going to be all right, Michigan will have a first down. Joe is going to get up here, it looks like. So just judging by the way they're treating it, it wouldn't appear to be all that serious. Certainly not a game-threatening head or neck injury. Might be a shoulder as he holds that right wing a little gingerly coming off the field.
You know, Mike, sometimes when you come in that way and you drop down low, you get hit by the running back, and then another linebacker or defensive back hits you. You get your head pinned, and it's called a stinger. Yeah. Shoots right down the hand. You get a lot of tingling feeling that way, and it could mean some nerve damage or whatever the case in there. But the medics down there and the doctors that they have down there watch that real close, and they'll check his neck. They'll be real thorough on what he does, but a lot of times you can shake that off. And
before he returns, they'll give him those tests on the sideline where he has to use his shoulder muscles to lift up to see if he's got all feeling back in his arm.
What they'll do, if it's on his right side, they'll check his left side, compare the strength on that, and it's got to be exactly equal before he'll go back in, because the risk of injury with anything like that, you're dealing with nerves, and it takes a while for those to regenerate no matter what it is.
It has stopped raining now in the stadium here at Camp Randall, so that's good news for those in attendance. There's a lot of red ponchos floating around the stadium right now, and the hoods have come off many of the fans sitting in Camp Randall Stadium right now as they're protected a little bit by, well, and then some don't care. And then some, I mean, that guy's not going to put on a poncho even if we get a downpour. It just won't matter.
There's always a few in the crowd that it could be 20 degrees below, and they're still going to come out there, and that's the loyalty that you got to love about these fans here in Wisconsin.
You see, they're still checking Joe Stelmacher on the sideline. They're very cautious with anything that has to do with the neck and the shoulders and things of that nature, so they'll make certain that he is 100% before even considering allowing him to return. Medical staff does a great job, always have here at the University of Wisconsin. It is 1st and 10 Michigan at the 47, a 4-receiver set, and they're doubled at the top of the screen, but now in motion comes Manningham. And they'll come near side. We get a flag on the play, and Manningham catches the ball and is run out of bounds at the Wisconsin 43, but this may be a motion penalty against Michigan.
Yeah, I think the receivers out on the outside just got a little head start on the snap there, which really isn't excusable for a receiver. The only thing you have to do is look down at the line of scrimmage, see when the ball snapped and go. But they did get a little jump knowing that Wisconsin started to read it.
Illegal formation. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
You know, for a team that doesn't normally run a lot of that spread 5-receiver formation kind of stuff, that's something that's easy to happen that way. And especially when you know you're going to drop off one of the guys, you got to make sure you have one of the guys covering the tackle on the line of scrimmage there, and that time Michigan did.
So it'll be 2nd and 15 for the Wolverines. Henny in at quarterback. He is 11-4 as a starter. This year he's thrown the ball for just under 600 yards, 6 TDs, and 1 interception. He's got 4 receivers. They're going to run the same play near side. Again, Manningham to the 45, maybe the 46. Before he's buried under, coming up to make the stop is Roderick Rogers.
And that becomes part of the chess game. The Michigan coaches obviously saw something that Wisconsin missed a check, didn't cover down on those guys for that quick screen for the wide receiver. That time the Wisconsin coaches recognized, hey, let's change up what we're doing here, get our guys in better position to do that. And the players on Wisconsin recognized the play that time and reacted much better than the first time.
Manningham is a freshman from Warren, Ohio, and coming in today had 3 catches for 60 yards and a touchdown. Henny on the delay. This time Martin has it, and he's wrapped under and then buried as the Badgers come up from the secondary, and knocking him down is Alan Langford.
Alan Langford and then Johnny White, number 4 as well. A couple defensive backs I think when you look at what they've done up to this point, halfway through the first quarter, Wisconsin's playing very aggressive. They're bringing their safeties up big time into run support, knowing that they've got potent offense that wants to run that way. The only thing that you got to be careful of is on the play action, don't get caught up in there because it can open up a lot of things down the field.
It's now 3rd and 9. And Michigan snaps the ball just inside their midfield stripe. Man in motion, and now the set. And he has some time. Goes on the outside, and it's caught in front of Zalewski. What a great catch by Tyler Ecker.
Good
and
coverage.
A perfect throw.
Yeah, good coverage. He's right in position with Zalewski right there. Ecker makes it laid out to catch that ball. Good protection. A lot of the crossing routes, that's where linemen get in the way. Linebackers can't always see who they're supposed to cover, but again, he's in position right there. It's a perfect throw and a great catch by Ecker.
Yeah, Zalewski's in good position on that one, but it is 2 goods outdo 1 good for the Badgers because Henne made a perfect throw and Ecker makes a great catch. 1st and 10. Now the Badgers 38. Second back through of X. Martin picking and choosing. Knocked down at the 35-yard line. Again, coming up and making a play from the secondary is Johnny White.
Johnny White, a guy that also you didn't see last week, is number 34, Kurt Ware, who was out with the chicken pox of all things.
So the Badgers will put Michigan in a 2nd and 6, we'll call it. Ball marked just inside the 35. Kurt Ware, the sophomore, off to a very good start. Ware has had great numbers, 6 tackles, 3 sacks, a pass broken up, and 3 quarterback hurries. And then he didn't play last week, obviously, at North Carolina, didn't make the trip. Man in motion, and Henne on a play-action fake. Wants to look deep on a double move to the corner, has him wide open, and missed his man. He was going for Jason Avant on a double move. He had Rogers beaten on the play, but Henne misses the mark.
Henne just a little off on that. Ran a route, what's called a post corner, probably one of the hardest things to do as a receiver because they break towards a goalpost. Your cornerbacks normally cover that, break hard with them, and then they make another cut. You got to spin around real quick, and Bell reacted a little late. Had that ball been on the mark, it would have been a completion.
Brett Bell coming back, Johnny White with a little help, and it is 3rd and 7. Michigan has converted their 3rd down opportunities, 2 for 2 so far today, and a big one here. They're probably just outside of field goal range. Henne with time, steps up, and he is hanged. He runs out of a tackle, and he'll slide for a 1st down. Henne's a big kid at 6'2", 226, and he ran out of a shirt tackle by one of the Badger defensive linemen and picks up another 1st down.
It started off with solid protection for Michigan on the Wisconsin defensive front. Good coverage downfield. Henne had nowhere to go, and I think he ran out of Hayden's grip, which isn't something that's very easy to do. Nick Hayden is one of the biggest guys that they have on the defensive line there, but you're right, he's a competitor, he's a big kid, and he knows how to get the job done.
It is a 1st down at the Badger 28. And Henne with 3 wide receivers will look to throw quick left side, and in front of the defensive back, and now making the corner is Avant inside the 7-yard line.
Again, Avant is one of Henne's go-to guys. Alan Langford gets caught up on that. What he's got to be careful of as a freshman, there's a lot of double moves, there's a lot of hitch and go, there's a lot of jockeying for position that's very close, and as a freshman, he doesn't have the experience that those guys have. Avant, being a senior, knows how to play that position game. What he has to do is come up and make solid, sure tackles if the guy catches a ball, but don't react to everything. React to what's actually happening.
See how well the Badgers play in short yardage here as Michigan now has it 1st and goal. The ball is at the Wisconsin 6. Henne to Martin, 2nd back through, and he's piled up at the 5.
Good position there by the linebackers. Good force by the defensive line up front there. Got a couple yards on that, but again, they're creating problems because they're getting in the gaps and letting the linebackers flow to where they have to get to make the tackles. And again, then the secondary coming in and helping clean up. But a couple yards, but Wisconsin, this is a time you got to bend a little bit, but don't break, because then you get up 6.
It is 2nd and goal, ball just inside the 5-yard line. DeAndre Levy in at one of the linebacker positions. Badgers go with 4 down linemen. Michigan snaps it. Henne looks to throw. Wants to come near side. In the end zone, he missed his man Avant. And Brett Bell with good coverage.
Good coverage all along there, and good protection up front again. Some of the big guys on the defensive line got to get their hands up, get in the vision of Henne, but Brett Bell on that solid coverage, had him like a blanket, didn't grab him, didn't cause a penalty, was in perfect position, ready to knock the ball away.
So the Badgers now on defense with a 3rd and goal at the 4-yard line. See what Michigan looks to do with Henny. Henny backs out, changes the call. Kevin Grady is the running back. A slot left and a slot right. Henny will give to Grady on the left side. At the 1, he's sacked up and held in by Zalewski. Hey, what a good tackle by Zalewski, who holds Grady at the 1.
One of the misdirection things that we talk about, you get the secondary being a little aggressive, linebackers flowing with the play. They started out right, had him cut back to the left. You get Matthew Shaughnessy, number 92, who hold position back there. A couple of, again, the linebackers stepping in. Zalewski coming in to fill up or finish up. And again, Johnny White filling in there to do it again.
Michigan set up to go for it on 4th and goal with a ball marked at the 1. And they work left to right. So they work not into the student section, but into the filled-in horseshoe end of the stadium. The play clock is already down to 10. Wisconsin running some substitutions in late. They won't be able to finish them, and now a timeout will be called by the Badgers. The Badgers made late substitutions, and they were too late.
Yeah, and what they were doing is they were subbing in some of the bigger guys, down linemen, a couple extra linebackers, because they knew Michigan was going to pack it in. Probably not a bad call to get a timeout because you don't want to get caught with 12 men on the field or any of that kind of stuff. But you got to be ready to go. They're assuming that they're going to transition and have their kicking team come out. They've got the right personnel. Once they went to the line, it was a scramble.
Credit Michigan's offense for getting ready because they were going to get that playoff in time, and I don't know if Wisconsin thought that they would. And there have been some key games against the Michigan Wolverines here at Camp Randall Stadium and other places. And Barry Alvarez talked about some of those earlier this week, about those key Wisconsin-Michigan matchups.
The 93 game has to stand out, just because of how excited everyone was and how big a victory it was at the time. Really kind of launched us into the Rose Bowl picture in the league championship. The 93 game has to stand out, just because of how excited everyone was and how big a victory it was at the time. Really kind of launched us into the Rose Bowl picture and the league championship picture, and then all the things that transpired after the game with the injury to the students and that type thing. And then, we had to address our players that week. We had psychiatrists coming in. We had players that were really affected because they thought they were carrying bodies out of the stadium and guys doing resuscitation. And so just the emotion that they had to go through and how we had to deal with that week and address it to get ready for the Ohio State team was very talented. You always remember the one where we have all the momentum. We have an easy field goal kick right in front of the crossbars with probably a minute left. We're going to win the game, miss the kick, and then the unfortunate thing with that crazy bounce hitting Brett, and then just running down. That was a gift. So we've had a lot of tough ball games, a lot of close games with them. A lot of hard-fought games.
All right, Michigan's got it. 4th and goal at the 1, and they will go for it after the timeout. On a second back. He is stacked up. Did Grady get in? I don't think so.
He's short. Great defensive stand by the Badgers there. Putting in a hole. Couple plays that Michigan made. They came up, they stacked him up, and they stopped him. Great defensive stand.
What a game changer that might be. Look at that. Fans getting jacked up as the Badgers come through twice inside the 5-yard line. And on 4th and goal, they come up and make the stick.
And just about everybody get on that. Number 16, Stellmacher. Didn't know he was going to get back, comes back in, he's ready to go. He makes a play. I tell you, those are the kinds of things. Guy comes up, he's focused.
The previous play is being reviewed.
Now they're going to review it. All right, now this is something that doesn't, again, as we talk about this from time to time, as we get an instant replay challenge, it is not challenged by either team on the field. This is done by the replay official who is in the booth next to us, and it's Verl Sell. Now, Verl Sell is known to a lot of Big Ten fans as a basketball official, but he is the replay official in today's game, and he's in the booth immediately to our right. That view that we just saw there isn't going to tell Verl Sell anything, so they'll have to use a different replay in order to get it. That's not Verl. Verl is tucked in behind the monitor.
Smart man.
Yeah, he doesn't want us to see him as he goes over it. Let's see if we can see if we'll have another angle that he'll get to look at. This probably won't tell him anything conclusively either. But there you wouldn't change a call, certainly. I don't think he got in no matter how many times they look at it, Nelly. Yeah. They're not going to find that Kevin Grady crossed the goal line.
Yeah, no, every single angle that we've seen so far, the one that didn't show a whole lot, this one probably showed the best here, but he's definitely stopped laying down.
The play stands as ruled on the field. First down.
Well, that certainly makes Dave Whitvet popular, even though they don't know in the stadium that Verl Sell made the call.
Right. I tell you, this is a dangerous spot to be in as the offense now, because you've got a very aggressive, very jacked up Michigan defense that's thinking, hey, the offense isn't going to do it. Let's us get 2 points.
Don't be shocked. Now, Wisconsin is awfully conservative much of the time, and they don't have a wide receiver in. So I was going to call for, Brandon Williams on the outside. And they'll sneak it instead. Stocko maybe gets a yard, so they'll have just a shy bit of breathing room outside the goal line in the shadow of their own goalpost.
And sometimes that's not necessarily a bad call. It just gives you a little extra breathing room. If you do end up having to pass, it gives your quarterback a little bit more room to roam, gives your lineman a little bit more space to work in, and gives Calhoun, if they do end up handing off to him, a little bit more field to see on.
This Michigan defense is the #8 defense in the country through 3 games in scoring allowed, with just over 11 points per game. Second down and 9 at the 2-yard line. Tailback he is, Calhoun. Oh, he jitterbugs and nearly found a full gap. He was about a half a step away from going to the house.
I'm not sure who hit him there as he got through that hole, but it forced him to spin. Had he not spun, I think he's running a long ways.
Well, that's one thing about the aggressive goal line type defense, is that if he gets through that little gap, there's nobody back there.
No.
Michigan really jammed the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, linebacker Chris Graham right there just got a hand on him, forced him to spin. Number 31, Engelman, strong safety, does the same thing, but had those 2 guys not gotten in that gap, he's running.
It's a 3rd down play, 3rd and 3.5. Ball marked just outside the Badgers 7. Stocko on the stretch near side Calhoun. He's got a little room, cuts it back. He'll get outside the 10, but not enough for the first down. So Ken DeBush will come on 4th and less than a yard and see if he can get a big foot into one here. This is one of those times where you need your punter to come up big, and DeBush has through 3 weeks. He's been one of the best in the country.
Yeah, and I don't see any reason why, after the way he kicked the first one, sometimes those guys are much like pitchers. They get into a groove. They know that they're punting and kicking well. They're pitching well, whatever the case. After his first one, I think he's feeling pretty good what he can do. All he's got to do is get the protection now.
Steve Breston is back deep for Michigan. He needs 334 yards to catch #1 all-time in the Big Ten. That's a good kick that turns over and carries all the way to the 30-yard line. Breston, though, with some room on the far side. Makes a move, will get a flag, so Michigan going to get backed up. How good does that turn out? With Wisconsin punting from their own 10, Michigan's going to end up being back inside their own 30-yard line to start this offensive set, or about the 30. 57-yard punt by DeBush.
27 on the returning team. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. First down.
That was number 27. They got double numbers here. I assume it's Shakir Edwards, number 27. He's a 6 foot, 207-pound sophomore, but holding on Zach Hampton, again, one of the sprinters that DeBush trusts and relies on to get down there, and obviously there was a reason he couldn't get there. He's being held.
Ends up being a 56-yard net on the punt for Ken DeBush. And Michigan takes over with 2 wides, 1 on each side, and Chad Henne is the quarterback against a Badger defense that just got off the field on a goal line stand. And the tailback through the hole is Max Martin. He's knocked down at the 37.
I think you touched on a good point there, Mike. They just got off the field. 3 downs. they're back out there. They've got to create something out, whether it be a turnover, a 3-and-out themselves, because they got to get some rest. This is going to be a battle from start to finish. The good thing for them is it's much cooler today, yet you do get tired because of the physical part of this game. Once you hit the Big Ten, and as powerful as Michigan is, you got to be ready to go.
We wind down to the end of the first quarter. Nothing been decided here at the end of one quarter of play. It is Michigan nothing and the Wisconsin Badgers nothing. And you're watching Wisconsin Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television.
Thank you for watching Wisconsin Public Television. Now let us know what you think about the program you've just watched or any of our programs by calling 1-800-253-1158 or by emailing us at comments@wpt.org. Wisconsin Public Television belongs to you. Thanks for letting us know what you think.
Coming from director Martin Scorsese.
That he not busy being born is busy dying.
Everything you thought you knew about Bob Dylan is about to change. Bob Dylan looks back to where it all began. No Direction Home. Bob Dylan, a Martin Scorsese picture.
Monday night at 8 on Wisconsin Public Television. You're watching Wisconsin Public Television, your place to grow through learning.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
We pick up play now as we start the second quarter. Chad Henne, the quarterback you see in your screen, steps back, changes the play at the line of scrimmage on second and call it 6 from the Michigan 37-yard line. Second back through. Again, it's stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Max Martin not being able to plug loose. In fact, it was not Max Martin. Instead, it was Jerome Jackson, a junior running back from Saginaw, who was not listed in the top 3 on Michigan's depth chart coming into the bowl game.
And number 92, Matt Shaughnessy, coming from the backside to make that play. Tremendous effort on his part.
Big third down play here. Michigan is 3 of 4 on third down so far today. Henne will go back to pass. 4-man rush, has time, throws to the far side. Sanders is on the spot and knocks it loose. Not able to hold on is Steve Preston. And Michigan will punt for the first time today.
It brings him out for that fourth down play, but I tell you, one thing Michigan did there is put 2 guys crossing, mixed up the linebackers. Sanders, unlike in the first game, he got caught, missed a play, missed a read, caused a touchdown against Bowling Green. This time he reacted, made the tackle, and hit the ball.
Back deep for Wisconsin is Brandon Williams, who has been incredible in his punt return opportunities. He'll have a chance here if he comes up to get it. He's going to let it bounce at the 30. And now they'll just wave it off as it rolls down to the 22-yard line. And a good punt for Michigan by Ross Ryan, who came in averaging 40 yards per punt. And that one is 41. There is a flag at about the Wisconsin 47-yard line.
During the kick, personal foul, 36 on the receiving team, 15 yards from the end of the kick. First down.
That's a big penalty. It's against Travis Beckham, the Badger freshman, who got moved to defensive end this week, and Barry is very upset about this one. And you could read his lips there. He just says, stupid. And now we won't read the lips on that one.
Yeah, I don't think he's a real happy camper, and perfect teaching moment for Beckham. And I tell you, this is one thing as a freshman, you got to be smart because the officials see what's going on, and there's no reason to do that stuff. No stupid penalties, what you're always taught. That was one right there. Puts them in a hole.
Badgers starting out their 11-yard line, 1st and 10. Calhoun is the lone setback, and Daniels is in motion. And wanting to throw, it's Stocko coming near side. Dangerous throw, and it's knocked away from Jonathan Orr. Coming up to make the hit on the outside is Leon Hall. It's dangerous because the ball is traveling a long way, and you got to put something on it because I'll tell you, Leon Hall was making a break.
Yeah, he was making a break. And Stocko, you know, some people probably know this, but he was drafted coming out of high school to play baseball. But that's one thing, as a receiver, on those out routes, you got to come back and get the ball because it does come out there and it tends to float. The defensive backs can break on it, but you got to come back and get it and squeeze it. Orr's too big and too strong to let that happen.
It is 2nd now and 10 yards. Williams and Orr are to the near side, and Daniels now comes in motion that way. Calhoun stacked at the line and behind the line of scrimmage. There is a flag down on the play.
Good pressure up front there by Michigan's front 7. Missed block by Owen Daniels, and that helps clean him up.
Offside, defense, number 91, 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
That's a break for the Badgers. Rondell Biggs, a 270-pound senior from Southfield, Michigan, lines up offside.
That might explain why they got in there so quickly. Get a little extra step and get in there and get after it. And a lot of times when, you know, this is a game of inches, you slip by a guy for an extra inch, means you beat him. But in that case, he's got an extra yard.
It is now 2nd and 5, ball at the 10-yard line. I backfield. And Stocko goes down at the 2-yard line, and there is going to be a couple of flags thrown as well. In all likelihood, holding against the Badgers, which in this case would be declined. And that is the case. They lined up with a backfield set that had Jason Posiak as the fullback in front of Calhoun. They faked there, and Posiak, I believe, was the intended receiver coming out of the backfield.
Yeah, Posiak was one guy coming out of the backfield. I don't think he could get through there, or was another guy that just did a quick curl right on that. I think that's who Stocko was trying to go to.
Offense number 53. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
That's Donovan Raiola, a senior and a co-captain. And the Badgers now face long distance 3rd and 15. Make that 16 from their own 5-yard line. And Calhoun is a single back in the backfield. See if Wisconsin is again conservative. And they are to the left side, Calhoun. And he does a good job to get outside the 15-yard line and will give DeBush an extra 10 yards on this punt.
And again, you see some of the patience that he has, pushing outside a little bit, forcing the defense to cover over the top and cutting back underneath inside. Came up about 4 or 5 yards short on that. Just a fraction of a step, fraction of an inch again from breaking it for a 1st down. But there you see some of the patience he has. But again, like you said, he sets up DeBush, gives him a little bit more room to work.
And Calhoun's off to a very good start. 9 carries, 49 yards. But Wisconsin will punt with DeBush again, 3rd time on the day. Good snap and plenty of time. And he hits a low line drive. Going to take a good bounce. And it's picked up by Breston, and he's hammered at the 40. Zach Hampton.
Breston makes a mistake there, starts to wave off his coverage guys, and then decides, I'm going to take it. But by that time, they release both sprinters on that simple tackle on their part. They always converge inside shoulder, inside and front. They do that. He's waving them off right there. As you see, he decides to go at it. All you see is 3 Badgers coming right at him.
Well, and Breston secured the ball. Otherwise, he may lose, you know, another. He probably saved 7 to 10 yards because it would have rolled out further in all likelihood. So
the only thing you got to be careful is once those guys get released, they're coming with a head of steam. If he doesn't secure it, that's a big play.
It's the Badger women's volleyball team coming out into the north end zone and being introduced at the student section off of a win last night against 5th-ranked Minnesota at the Fieldhouse. Better than 5,000 in for that game as number 10 UW beat Minnesota in 5 games. First time all season Wisconsin has had a match go past 3 games. Badgers are now 10-1 as Steve Lownight and the reunion of the 1990 Big Ten championship team was last night. On Sunday, 1 o'clock, Wisconsin takes on Iowa free admission with a ticket stub from the Michigan football game, which just happens to be going on right now. Let's also talk about what we have coming up. Everybody's talked about this game for a while as Wisconsin meets Michigan. Well, a week from today, they'll take on Indiana in a game that kicks off at 11 o'clock in the morning at Camp Randall Stadium. But you can catch all the action next Saturday night, October the 1st. It's a 10:30 start time on Wisconsin Public Television as the Badgers welcome the Indiana Hoosiers to town, and Indiana gets an extra week to prepare. They're not playing today.
Yeah, and they're sitting at 3-0 right now. I think that's the first time they've been undefeated since 1993. So, new coaching staff down there as well, and guys responding and playing pretty well. But having a week to rest up and get ready for your Big Ten, first Big Ten game going on the road, that's going to be very important for them.
Badgers have been pretty good on defense. They've allowed just one touchdown in the last 10 quarters. Obviously did a very good job last week against North Carolina. The week before against Temple didn't allow anything. And we're not there yet, but the Badgers have yet to allow a third quarter touchdown this year. And they are looking at Brian Calhoun on the Badgers sideline, who was a little gimpy coming off after that last run. And again, they're looking at the top of the right shoulder. So maybe again, another case of a stinger. And good news earlier with Joe Stellmacher coming back from the same thing. It is 1st and 10 Michigan. Henny on a play action, and he looks deep on the right sideline. Good coverage by Brett Bell, and the ball is overthrown. But Bell was with his man step for step. It was intended for Steve Breston.
And Steve Breston's a speedster who gets down there. Bell, one of the fastest guys in the secondary for the Badgers. Great coverage. He's got him tucked on his hip. He's running with him. Once the receiver looks for the ball, he looks for it as well. It was overthrown, but very good coverage in that part. The other thing that you got to be careful of when you send a guy deep that way, they cross their linebacker or their tight end in front of linebackers. They brought in Avant behind him. If he can't go deep, there's two other guys flowing underneath there. You got to be real careful watching that coming across the field.
It is 2nd and 10. Excellent coverage by Bell. Badgers in the traditional 4 defensive back set. Coming near side and nearly picked off, but also it is caught. And breaking down the sideline and for a first down is Mario Manningham. Brett Bell had a chance. And that's the tough part as a defensive back. When you have that chance, do you take your shot?
Yeah, and that's where you got to make your decision right away. It was a solid throw coming out there. Bell, what he needs to do instead of one hand, go with both. I think if he goes with both on that, he's squeezing that for an interception. If you only go with one, make sure it's your front hand, not your back hand, because then you've got nothing to grab cloth on a receiver.
Good play by Manningham and a great throw by Henny. 1st and 10 at the Wisconsin 35. Tailed back through and on a hole on the right side. Squirting ahead is Max Martin. And Martin picks up a good chunk inside the 30 to the 28.
Martin's the workhorse for Michigan right now. He's got 6 rushes, 42 yards on the day. But, when you look at the first 3 opponents for the Badgers, guys are making some plays on the opposing teams, but not time and time again. Here's where the talent level elevates. Guys, even though somebody's in front of their face, can squeeze that ball and make sure they make the reception, as you saw 2 plays ago. Their vision is so much better coming out of the backfield as well.
Max Martin now 7 carries, 49 yards today off of a 117-yard performance last week against Eastern Michigan. Quick drop and a throw to the right. Hey, coming up and making a hit is Langford. And the forward progress will be inside the 29 or about the 29. Good for a first down, but Langford with a hard break and a sure tackle.
And Langford coming up after he got burned a little bit in the first quarter there, coming up, making a good play. That's the kind of thing you want to see. Make the break through the receiver, time it out where he catches the ball. You can either knock it out or bring him down for a tackle.
Langford's a redshirt freshman from Detroit. So you'll see over the time that he's got the next 3 years how much stronger he'll get. He looks a little slight yet, but he is just a second-year kid and a redshirt freshman. 1st and 10, Michigan, and they'll throw. Henny looks deep, goes to the corner with the man open, and he missed his target. He had a touchdown to Jason Avant, but missed it high and long.
Missed it high and long. I'll tell you, Roderick Rogers, safety in the back there, needs to come over and read that. They've got 2 guys coming up on the seam on him, but knowing that you got coverage underneath from your corner, you got to cover the top that way. Lucky on that Henny overthrew his receiver. And again, it's just a couple things, communication, knowing what it is. You've got man coverage. If you're the man free, in this case, that way is being a free safety and flowing wherever it goes. You got to react and you got to move quickly.
Brett Bell bit on the first post move, and he was wide open, Jason Avant. And he misses. It's 2nd and 10. Trail back through the hole is Kevin Grady. And Grady is brought down after a pickup of 3. That's his 5th carry of the day. You won't see today, it appears, at least at this point, Mike Hart, the 5'9", 190-pound sophomore from Syracuse, who a year ago had 1,455 yards on the ground. He was a phenom, and he was out with a hamstring injury suffered against Notre Dame in their loss. Did not play last week against Eastern and was a question mark today, but hasn't been on the field yet. There you see him on the sideline.
You can tell he's chomping at the bit to get out there, but you can almost see by just his body posture he's not going to be playing today.
3rd and 7. Michigan did very good. 3 of 5 today. They're 0 for 1 on 4th down. Pressure comes up, and in the secondary, coming up and making the tackle on a blitz is Dontez Sanders. The flag goes because it will be an intentional grounding.
Dontez Sanders and Mike Newkirk finishing him off, running a couple different stunts, something they haven't done a whole lot against the Wolverines up to this point. But that time it worked. Saw the gap, ran through it, made the tackle, and finished the play.
On the play, intentional grounding. Number 7 of the offense. The penalty is loss of down at the spot of the foul. 4th down.
So now with the ball marked down where the sack had taken place, it's at the 32, which would set up a 50-yard field goal attempt if Michigan goes that way. Their field goal kicker is Garrett Rivas, a 5'9" junior from Tampa who is 4 of 5 this year, and Rivas will come on to try the field goal. Michigan is a team that loves exotics, so the Badgers will be very wary here of a fake.
Yeah, this is one thing where the communication on the defensive front, you got to be telling each other, watch the fake, play solid responsibility football.
Is long on the year, is up 38 yards. The snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is short.
Flag on the play, though.
There's a flag down. I took my eyes off of the kicker, but it is running into the kicker by Wisconsin. Oh, what a tragic miscue that is. Rivas apparently got run into.
Running on the defense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat, 4th down.
It's a running into, not a roughing the kicker. So it's 5 yards, and it's Langford, and that is soft.
That's great acting.
Oh,
And he got pushed into him, too.
That is terrible.
Langford coming off the corner gets pushed by number 35 by Michigan there. Barely taps him. That's good acting.
Well, you know that's a rotten call.
That's a gift. That's a gift.
Now the field goal attempt will come from the 34, making it a 44-yarder for Rivas, who was short and wide left on the first one. This one is on the way, and that one looks to be good, and it is. So Michigan gets awarded 3 points on an incredibly soft penalty called against Alan Langford.
It's too bad you can't replay something like that, huh?
Yeah, that's a judgment call. On the sideline, Brett Bielema is talking to Langford, but I believe when they look at the film of that one, they're not going to say anything to Alan Langford because I don't believe he did anything wrong.
No, he came off the corner hard. The end on Michigan's field goal protection there, pushed him. He ran into him. He wasn't even looking, barely tapped him. And the kicker, what they're taught to do, falls down, but there's no way that should have been called.
There you see the members of the Wisconsin Badgers men's basketball team being introduced. You can join the basketball team October the 17th at the Kohl Center for the Night of the Grateful Red. Students and fans of all ages invited to celebrate the start of basketball season. The fun begins at 7 o'clock on Friday, October 14th, and admission is free.
It was kind of a neat thing when they bring out the volleyball teams and the hockey teams and basketball team, all that, because there's not many times that they get a chance to get recognized, except in their uniforms when they're playing the game, but in front of 85,000 people, and it's great recognition and great exposure for the university that way.
Let's look at what Michigan has done. This is an impressive little statistic that we're going to look at here. Michigan's most common opponent in Big Ten openers is the Badgers, of which they faced them 16 times, won 15 of those. And they have been amazing in Big Ten openers. They're looking for their 24th consecutive Big Ten opening win today.
Yeah, and I think that's one thing that, you know, we talked about the history and tradition. That's what they do. They know how important it is to start fast, control your own destiny, and you do that by winning games. And the first one in the Big Ten, no matter who it is, Wisconsin they face the most. But Michigan State, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, whoever they're facing, they know how important it is to get off to a quick start and start out 1-0 in conference, because you set yourself behind already. As tough as this conference is, you lose the first one, you put yourself in a hole already, and it's tough to dig out of that.
Badgers have been pretty good in Big Ten openers of their own. That head coach has had his moments. 9-6 in Big Ten openers during Barry's tenure here at Wisconsin. Hoping to get a 10th win on opening day. They're going to have to come from slightly behind on a gift 3 points to Michigan. The Wolverines have really outplayed Wisconsin so far. 139 yards in offense to the Badgers 33. And Michigan had a 4th and goal opportunity at the 1 that they failed on. That kick sails into the end zone, and Brandon Williams comes out from 3 yards deep. And now he's got room at the 20, and to the 30, and to the 40, and a late flag comes in from the side.
I tell you, you got lucky on that with Williams coming out. You're taught if you're behind the numbers, behind the letters in the end zone, go down, take a knee, come out to the 20. But he got lucky on that tremendous return. If you're wondering what this flag is.
On the returning team, 10-yard penalty, first down.
Badgers have had the worst of it so far in penalties on the day. That is the 3rd penalty against Wisconsin, even though Michigan's been called 4 times. It is the unfortunate circumstances at which the penalties have taken place that have hurt Wisconsin so far today.
It's always been off big plays, big first down plays, anything like this. And I think it came from the side, Judge. You can't really see what happened on there, but it was somebody off the outside probably just blocking off on the safety valve and held him too long.
It's 1st and 10, ball at the 27. Calhoun stutter steps and goes to the left side where he's knocked down right about the line of scrimmage by the Wolverines, stepping up Dave Harris and Lamar Woodley. And Calhoun now with his 10th carry of the day, right about 50 yards.
And this is one thing that the coaches talked about in preseason. They know Calhoun can catch. They know he can run. He's very versatile in all those things. They just got to be careful how much they use him, that they don't wear him down too quickly.
Calhoun, one of the best in the country in all-purpose yardage so far, leading the nation in scoring, and also number 4 in the country in all-purpose yards at 185 a game. Stocko goes to Calhoun. Calhoun in the open field, knocked down right at the 30-yard line, and it brings up 3rd and very long.
It was one of those things where they bring out Daniels, spread him out, try and get the defense to spread a little bit, and they free up the inside. They're good protection by the offensive line, and Stocko just checks down to Calhoun. But again, good convergence. They basically played a zone underneath and a man coverage over the top, and those linebackers sat in their zone very well for Michigan.
Well, you talk about Wisconsin being perceived as one-dimensional, and they're doing nothing to alleviate those concerns today. 2 of 5 in the air for 10 yards, just about midway through the 2nd quarter. 3rd and long. Daniels in motion, and Stocko back to throw. Off the edge, he has some pressure, and just missed Owen Daniels, who was a stationary target. It was going to be short of the first down, but Stocko getting a little happy feet in the pocket, just missed a wide open Owen Daniels.
And that's one of the things that Daniels has to do, is he's got to make sure that he can catch the ball. He gets into an open position. Stocko's got to feel comfortable in the pocket there. Right now, like you said, he's a little jittery. He's not quite sure what to do, where to go with things. He's got to settle down, play like he did last year against Purdue and Minnesota and Ohio State when he first played a couple years ago. And he'll be okay. He just needs to settle in the routine of the game.
DeBush, 3 punts and a 48-yard average. Gets off a low liner, fielded at the 30. And I'll tell you what, coming up and making another play is Zach Hampton, and he has turned into a special teams demon.
Zach Hampton is a guy that I think if you look at the history of Coach Alvarez being here with special teams, they've always had solid guys out on the sprint side for the punt team. They've had Corey Manley and Vint Zulo, those guys. Jeff Messenger was down there. J.C. Dawkins used to be down there. You had a couple guys a few years ago that got after it. Now you're seeing Zach Hampton filling that. They take great pride in that, making sure they cover down on there because they know how important that field position game is. And those guys really set the tone. Big hit on special teams can create a lot of excitement for your defense.
1st and 10, Michigan at their own 29. And off the right side again, and no gain on that one. Is stacked up is Max Martin. Time of possession, it doesn't seem like a big issue right now. It's only about a minute apart of these two teams, but the Badgers continually seem to be going 3 and out on offense and allowing their defense to have to stay on the field for longer terms. That pays dividends to the other team later in the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. When you have 5 third downs and you only convert one of them as opposed to Michigan, who's converted 50%, 3 out of 6, that keeps the drive alive. And again, a lot of that's just to the comfort level of Stocco at this point. He's got to make sure that he settles in and steers the offense where they need to go.
3 consecutive 3 and outs by that Michigan defense. Henny back to pass and with time, but a late hit by Watkins. He's still on the mark to the near side. It's caught near the sideline by Jason Avant. And Henny stood in and took a shot from Watkins and delivered a perfect strike.
Perfect strike. And on that, watching down on the sideline, you see Coach Bielema on that. Dantes Sanders waits and waits and waits instead of going and seeing. I guess it wasn't Sanders. I guess it was number 24 for the Badgers on that with Watkins. He's got to come in there and he's got to read his guy that his running back is blocking, get in there and make the hit. He just waited way too long on that. Cross up again on the crossing routes. Bell got caught up inside with the linebackers and couldn't cover his guy.
And Bell took a shot downfield in the chase of Avant.
So you got to get your head on a swivel at that point.
Michigan will take a timeout.
Michigan.
With 7:14 to play here in the quarter, it's the first timeout for Michigan. And, you know, that's one of those times where not only does Watkins come late, but you can see how big and strong Henny is.
Oh,
Watkins' hit did nothing to him.
Didn't even phase him. And you know, one of the things that Michigan's been notorious for is physical receivers. Guys that get downfield, and when the ball is thrown, they block for their friends. When they get down there with running backs, they're blocking on their defensive backs. They're physical and they're strong and they're really big, and they enjoy doing that. Sometimes it's not just about catching the ball.
One of the great memories here at Camp Randall Stadium is 12 years ago when Wisconsin beat a Michigan team here at Camp Randall Stadium in a game that finished late afternoon, early evening. And Matt LePay, the voice of Wisconsin football on the radio, brings us back to that fond memory here at Camp Randall Stadium.
With the 1993 Big Ten season heading into the home stretch, 2 of the Big Ten's traditional powers made visits on consecutive weekends to Camp Randall Stadium. Up first, the Michigan Wolverines. Wisconsin took a first-half lead with 2 field goals by walk-on Rick Schnetsky and a 12-yard touchdown sprint by junior Terrell Fletcher. The second half saw the Badgers consistently turn back the Wolverines' offense, while junior Brent Moss controlled the clock, registering 128 rushing yards as Wisconsin defeated Michigan 13-10. That set up a first-place showdown with third-ranked Ohio State the following week. With snow flurries in the air, the Badgers tied the score with a late first-half touchdown as quarterback Darrell Bevel evaded Buckeyes' pressure to find Lee DeRamus. Camp Randall rose to a fever pitch in the second half when Brett Moss plunged into the end zone, giving the Badgers a second-half lead. After a late Ohio State touchdown tied the score, Wisconsin's final chance at victory was denied in the closing seconds. Following that night's 14-14 tie, Ohio State stumbled down the stretch, while the Badgers ran the table, winning the Big Ten championship and Rose Bowl title. The 1993 season was one of the greatest in Wisconsin football history, and those 2 weekends are a part of Camp Randall's greatest memories.
All right, there's Joe Panos, who was on that team that beat Michigan and tied Ohio State and then went on to win a Rose Bowl. He was introduced before the game today. He was one of the captains on that Badger team in 1993. Michigan now with 1st and 10 inside the Badger 45-yard line at the 44. Henny gives to the right side. That is Martin, and Martin is stacked up just over the line of scrimmage. Badger defense has been pretty darn good on the run. Michigan has done a little bit of their damage through the air. They have 93 yards in the air, 74 on the ground.
Yeah, they're trying to run almost a stretch play, pull out their guard and their center that way a little bit, but Levon Rowland steps in there, reads it very well, gets underneath the big guys because you don't want to take them on up high, gets under their legs and eventually gets into the running back's legs and bring him down.
And again, keep in mind the Badgers going defensively probably for the rest of the season without Jamal Cooper, who arguably was their best defensive lineman through the first 3 weeks. Henny again changes the play at the line of scrimmage. Looking to throw into the right flat. It is caught in the flat and running through a tackle. Doing a good job is Kevin Grady running out of the grasp of Langford. He'll be short of the first down, but probably got an extra 4 or 5 after the catch.
you know, and you talked a little bit about Langford growing and getting a little bit more mature, a little bigger, a little stronger. That's one of the places that you see that. We just talked about the big, strong, physical part of the Michigan receivers.
For an injured Wisconsin player.
Jason Chapman is having a hard time getting up on the far sideline.
Yep. But those big, strong, physical receivers, not only when they're blocking, but when they catch a ball, you got to be strong and physical with them, especially when you're on the boundary, which is a sideline. Use that to your advantage. Push them out of bounds. Don't try and tackle midfield. Push them out of bounds, because on that play, they gained probably another 3 or 4 yards after he made contact with him.
Gino Cruz will come on to replace Chapman. Chapman is a redshirt freshman from Bedford Heights, Ohio. Cruz is a redshirt freshman from Phoenix. You get the concept here that Wisconsin's a little young on the defensive line. Joe Monty is their experience there as a junior from Fort Collins. There's the coach. Coach is probably feeling a little anxious right now. Michigan has controlled the game. The positive side of that is, as much as Michigan has controlled, because the Badgers had a goal line stop on a fourth down play, the Wolverines lead it just by 3, even though the total yardage in this game is now 175 for the Wolverines to 36 for Wisconsin.
And that 3 really was a gift, thanks to the officials on what it was a poor call. And yet at this point, you got to move forward, you got to move on, and you hope that these guys, the young guys, Monty was interesting, had an article in the paper this past week talking about, I'm only a junior, I've only played, you know, 1 year tops, and I'm the guy that they're looking at as far as leadership goes. It's a strange position to be in.
3rd and a yard, and Henny sets up with a slot left, and Grady the deep back. Grady gets it, and he'll get the first down and plenty more. Inside the 25 to the 23. Finally dragged down in the secondary. Levon Rowan, one of those in on the play, but it is a big first down for Michigan. Now 4 of 7 on 3rd down.
Yeah, he got to the second level in a hurry, and there was no linebackers, nothing but defensive backs for Wisconsin. Anytime that you have a hole that big, you get your linebackers caught up on men with linemen, and they can't shake tackles. That's not a good sign. And Stelmacher just ran off, looked like another stinger. Anytime you run off holding your arm that way, you can't lift it. That means a stinger.
It is 1st and 10 at the 24. Michigan on a drive, and Henny wants to throw to a screen on the right side. There's nobody home defensively. Grady walks to the 5 and to the 3-yard line. That was well conceived, because the Badgers defensively had nobody on the left defensive side to cover that screen pass.
Yeah, that was covered very, very well by them, and they released a little play action to the left-hand side, released the running back out to the right. It was very, very simple for Henny to hit his man on that, and then you got a whole head of steam with a couple linemen coming out there. You got Sanders and Zalewski, and then Monty running down there to finish him off out of bounds, but that was too easy for them.
You see all the daylight. Now see if the Badgers can come up stiff again inside the red zone. Michigan 1st and goal at the 5-yard line. That's Grady up the middle. He's stacked up at the line of scrimmage and knocked down at about the 5.
Monty filling in there, big Nick Hayden, and Nick, like I said, 6'5", 300-plus pounds. Once he gets your paws on you, you're not getting away from him.
Hayden, a sophomore from Heartland, Wisconsin, putting a hit on the guy, and it is now 2nd and goal at the 4.
Interesting enough, you listen to Nick talk. I think growing up, Michigan was one of his favorite teams doing that, and what a thrill for him to be playing against them now.
Well, I would think Michigan's going to throw the ball here. Badgers have been pretty stiff defensively on running situations here in tight. And he does look to throw. Hit as he throws. Oh, what a quick rush from the outside. Nick Hayden beat his man on a swim and hit Henny before he could throw on a 2-step drop.
Yeah, and again, a big guy coming at you. And one thing that Coach Palermo has talked about with Hayden is he's learning different moves. He's not just trying to bull rush right over you. He's trying to swim. He's trying to club. He's trying to go underneath. And he's so big and powerful. Actually, he came up
unblocked. It's a missed assignment.
Yeah. But that's one thing that Palermo has said as a young kid last year, he really struggled with. This year, he's starting to understand spin moves and swim moves and techniques that way that gets him free.
3rd and goal at the 4. Badgers a little confused getting set defensively. Now get it set. Henny changes the play again at the line. He wants to throw right side on an ISO on the slant, caught for a touchdown. It is caught by Jason Avant on a quick stutter step slant in front of Brett Bell.
And those are the quick hitters down the goal line that are going to happen that way. The quarterback basically takes one step back, knows where he's going, usually predetermined, and hits his guy that way for a touchdown for the Wolverines. Anytime you're in press man coverage, as Brett Bell was, you cannot let your guy inside that way. You cannot do that.
Single coverage. He recognized it early. You talk about that defense again. Fill me in on what, fill the viewers in on what you're talking about, and about not allowing the receiver to come inside.
What those guys are taught is when a receiver is out there, you basically split half of him with half of you and make sure you're inside and in front that way. If he makes a move inside, he's coming to cover you down. You just push him down the line of scrimmage. If he goes on the outside, it's a ball that floats out there. You have time to recover, but when it's that quick, he gets inside, you cannot recover to get in there to knock the ball away, or it happens too fast down on the goal line that way. And when that does happen with the receiver that knows how to position his body to shield you off, there's no chance for you. Simple read for the quarterback on that.
And a pretty good catch by Avant, who gets into the end zone for the 4th time this year.
You could almost tell when they lined up, they brought over a guy in motion off to the left side, had a tight end down, they had a tight end up, and had 2 receivers coming over with a single guy off to the right side. They usually try and shift over the defense on that frees up, so linebackers have to slide and shift with running backs and tight ends. It frees up. There's nobody else there but Brett Bell and the receiver on that particular play.
So that's the first touchdown scoring drive of the day. 9 plays, 71 yards in just over 3 minutes and 35 seconds. On the drive, a 4-yard pass to Avant, and it is 10-0 Wolverines. And one of the things that we talked about at the top today is Wisconsin not wanting to fall behind deep in this one, and they're down 10-0 against one of the best defenses in the country. Brandon Williams to the outside. Good return to the 26. Wisconsin's going to have to find a way, Nelly, to do something offensively. They have had 3 consecutive 3-and-outs, and they've got to find a rhythm.
Yeah, they got to get something going here and get it going in a hurry with only 4:21 left in the second quarter here. They haven't been able to get on track with anything, and part of that, I think you said, Stock was a little uneasy back there. He's got to settle in. He's got to trust his linemen, and they got to get some gaps now for Calhoun to run through as they started to do on their first drive.
Stocco comes to the line of scrimmage. Williams to the top of the screen, and near side is Jonathan Orr. Owen Daniels is the slot. Coming near side, Calhoun. Michigan is going to step up and deny the run as much as they can. You know, and North Carolina did that a week ago, but the Badgers were better than North Carolina.
Yeah, they were more physical. They controlled the line of scrimmage here with Michigan. Again, Coach Alvarez talked all week long. These guys are big, they're strong, and they're fast. And you can see that with the linebackers. They read it very well. They follow their keys very well, and they hit the gap. So where the linemen aren't, they are. There's no place for Calhoun to run.
And there's also limited use right now from Matt Bernstein.
Right.
It is 2nd and 10. Stocco will throw. Under pressure, comes near side. Daniels makes a catch. No, he doesn't. It is ruled by the side judge, the line judge, that the ball hit the ground. It is incomplete, and it's 3rd and 10.
Yeah, I think you hit a key point with Bernstein there. He was so effective at blocking for Calhoun that when he's not in there, they lose another offensive lineman. I think that was a good call by the line judge there, seeing that he had it in his hands but came down and did hit the turf.
Matt Lawrence just got run over on the offensive set there by Pat Massey. Massey just ran through him and put pressure on Stocco. And the Badgers 1 of 5 on 3rd down today and risking their 4th consecutive 3-and-out. Stocco off of a blitz, has time, and over the middle he's got Jonathan Orr, and Orr's got a 1st down.
Michigan only bought 3 guys on that. With a delayed stunt coming in, Calhoun picked it up very well. Great protection on that, or running a solid route. Coming across the middle, that's very hard to do when you have linebackers dropping back in there. A lot of guys get what they call alligator arms. They get real short on that, but he brings it into his body, secures it, knows he gets a 1st down, and gets hit, but secures the ball for a 1st down.
And Calhoun picked up the blitzer.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a picture-perfect block, but it was enough to give Stocco the extra second to throw it. 1st and 10 at the 38. And Calhoun with a carry on the left side on the edge. Steps inside and maybe picks up 4 before he's knocked back.
Getting that completion, some of that time to throw for Stocco is going to be key. They need a couple more times like that where his confidence in his front 7 for him, running backs and linemen, increased a little bit where he's not so jittery back there. And Calhoun, I think, coming from the Big 12 where he last ran to here now in the Big 10, I think he's understanding the first 3 games were not quite indicative of what he's going to face from here on out in the rest of the season.
It is 2nd and 6. inside of 2:40 to play in the first half. Calhoun slots to the right. And Stocco looks there, hits him. Calhoun with a nifty move to get to midfield and pick up the first down.
Now what they got to do is this crowd of 80,000 people has to start to get into this a little bit, support them. They're making some first downs. They're doing some good things. You see Calhoun's versatility as a receiver, making guys miss. Again, solid protection for Stocco. Nothing fancy, nothing really downfield that causes him to throw a bad ball or anything, but simple plays that builds that confidence within himself and with his offense.
Calhoun having a good start to this ball game. 12 carries, 53 yards, 2 catches for 11 yards. So he's got 64 of the Badgers' offensive yards. Stocco with time, deep on the left, and he's got Owen Daniels. And a great throw on that ball over the head of a linebacker and in front of the corner.
Behringer on that, and you know, again, solid coverage from their secondary, but Owen Daniels, one of his favorite targets all year long, makes a good catch. Behringer comes up and makes the tackle on that, and number 31, Engelman, he's got 2 defensive backs on him. They're real happy with the way Daniels has played. Plus, he's running a 4.6 40. You don't have too many guys that are 250 pounds and that big that can run downfield that fast.
A good throw, and Daniels makes his first catch of the day. First down at the 35. Stocco again to throw, and again with time, coming near side on the corner. He's got Orr, and Orr is inbounds at the 18, making the 17-yard line, and it was not Orr, it was Brandon White.
Brandon White, I tell you on that, perfect throw, because the only person that could catch that was White, but White on that delays just a little bit before he goes there to locate where he's at, to see peripherally what he's looking at, so he gets his foot down inbounds and secures the reception.
And does he get it down? Does he get it down? He does.
Yeah, good call. You can see the official coming right down there. A good spot by him, and perfect throw.
They're going to review it. We saw that. I can see that one coming.
Yeah.
But I think, again, on this review, it's going to confirm the call on the field. Yeah. And it's going to be a catch. I know the fans aren't liking that it's being reviewed, but that's a good play by Brandon White. As I saw it in full speed from our vantage point, which is well above the field, obviously, I didn't know that he got his foot in. But on the replay that we see with great camera work, you can see that he does get that left foot down just in time.
Yeah, he catches securely. I think the review is because he steps on one of the hash marks there. You can't always tell. This is a right view here. You can see he's definitely in.
Absolutely. That left foot is inbounds. From the top angle, you can't tell it, but from that one, it's you can't doubt it on that one. That's a good catch.
The play stands as ruled. The player's foot was inbounds. First down.
Ball is marked at the 17, so Wisconsin on their best drive of the day, trailing 10-0.
You know, Mike, it's interesting when you look around the country as people are using this replay. It seems to work better than the NFL stuff, because 9 times out of 10 they get it right, and it's good to have. I'd rather have them review that, make sure they get the right call than screw it up.
1st and 10 now. Ball at the 17. Calhoun, the single back in the backfield. Bernstein is limited because of an injury. Coming near side towards the end zone, and Brandon Williams can make the play, and the fans wanted a call. Williams turned into a defensive back on the play because he was already out of it and had to come back late just to get a hand on it.
He had to come back late. Stocco sitting in the pocket there, feeling pressure coming, but the defensive back there slipped and fell down. Number 13 for Michigan there, Grant Mason. But again, Stocco feeling the pressure, releasing the ball, and you know, from the 2 angles that we saw with that, I'm not so sure it was pass interference. I think it was just a mix-up. He slipped and fell down.
Might have been a late hit on Michigan as well. Up front, it is 2nd and 10. And Stocco all through the air. Over the middle, Brandon Williams incomplete, and a great late defensive play. Coming across is Willis Behringer.
I tell you, 2 great plays, like you said, on that one right there. One, Stocco sticking in there and firing the ball down the middle, feeling that pressure and seeing it come right in his face on a blitz by the linebackers, being able to throw it to a spot, but a tremendous play by Behringer on that, coming across from the safety spot and knocking that away from Williams.
I don't know if he got a piece or if he just interfered with the view and the sight line of Brandon Williams. Either way, it brings up a 3rd and 10, and Wisconsin's going to take a timeout.
Timeout, Wisconsin.
So with 1:28 to play in the first half, and the Badgers down by 10 points, They certainly want to take every opportunity here to get it in the end zone.
Yeah, I think they understand, and Coach understands the importance of all this. And plus, what this timeout does is give your offensive line a chance to just rest a little bit, get their wind back, and know that 3rd and 10, they got a lot of work to do here. Give a shot at the end zone, see if they can get the 7. If not, they got to make sure they set themselves up for nothing less than 3 points.
All of the other action in the Big Ten has already been completed on the day. Michigan State had no trouble with an Illinois team head coached by Ron Zook, who's got a ways to go, 61-14 there. It was a double overtime win from Minnesota at home at the Metrodome, beating Purdue, one of the preseason conference favorites. Penn State with a big come-from-behind win down in Evanston, knocking off Northwestern, and how the mighty are falling. Iowa earlier losing to Iowa State, and today also one of the preseason in vogue picks in the Big Ten and in the country.
Right.
They get it handed to them by Ohio State, who, Nelly, I tend to think that Ohio State is the best team in the league.
Yeah, I think after watching what they did with Texas, they had every chance to win that game. A couple mistakes there cost them, but between Ohio State, Michigan State right now, who Michigan has next week, this league is up for grabs right now. There's a lot of really talented teams that are still left undefeated right now in conference.
Big 3rd down play here for the Badgers. 3rd and 10, ball just outside the 17-yard line. And Stocco with a single back being Bernstein. Blitz coming, has time, steps out of it near side, now has to throw it away on the near sideline. Nobody was open, call that. Great coverage downfield. Daniels wanted some type of a flag on the play, but it will bring out the field goal team for Wisconsin. And the Badgers, with Taylor Melhoff, need to get this one through the uprights.
Yeah, that was good protection by the offensive line for Wisconsin, and tremendous coverage downfield. Much what you might call a coverage sack for Michigan right there. And Daniels, the call he wanted, he kind of connected with the defensive back there just to get body contact to see if he could draw one from the official, and he didn't bite on that.
It's going to be a 35-yard attempt for Melhoff, and the left footer steps up. He's 1 of 2 on the year. This one is on the way, and it is good by Melhoff. That's a big kick. That's a big 3 points for the Badgers, who now trail it by a touchdown with 1:17 to play in the half. And now what you're going to want to do is make sure you don't give Michigan that 3 back or more in the final 77 seconds.
Yeah, that's one thing where the defense has to come out. This is a gut check. You got to get on and got to get off the field. But you know, we talked at the beginning of that drive for Wisconsin. They got to get something going. That time they generated some first downs. They had a couple big plays, key 3rd down play. Just a little miscommunication on this last part here where guys couldn't get open. But again, part of that's due to Michigan's defense. They've had a solid game plan right there, called the right coverage where Stocco couldn't throw to anybody. But the key thing is they got points. They're still in this game. There's some things that they can correct going in at halftime. They can change, I guess, the outlook and how they come out, because they started very, very quickly and very, very strongly as far as points in the 3rd quarter of each game so far this year.
It's a pretty good drive for the Badgers, who finally put something together. 11 plays, 57 yards, 3 minutes and 4 seconds off the clock. And after the first drive was 10 plays for 23 yards, hampered by penalties, the Badgers went 3 and out, 3 and out, and 3 and out before that scoring drive. So Wisconsin getting back into it and getting on the board. 10-3 now is the score with 1:17 to play, and Melhoff will kick it off for the first time today. High kick, but returnable. Breston and Mason are deep. It's Breston at the 8 and through a seam, and a big seam to the 35 and 36-yard line. Breston, a dangerous kick returner, whether it's on punts or kickoffs, and that's his best of the year so far.
Very quick, very fast. He gets upfield in a hurry. He goes north-south in a hurry. Number 10, Taylor Melhoff, cleans up for his own sake right there, so he doesn't get a big return on his own kick, but good position. He's a safety valve. He fills in the gap not too many times where they get a chance to make a tackle, but he does exactly what he needed to do.
And Melhoff has the ability to kick it so much deeper. He missed that one. You could see kind of popped it up. It was a little high and quite a bit short by his standards. So the Badgers with the extra defensive back in and 3 receivers for the Wolverines. Henney on the screen right side goes to the running back and out of bounds. They're going to run the clock, though. Max Martin caught it, and he gets to the 40-yard line. Now Michigan will take a timeout to stop the clock.
Michigan, their second.
And that's good to see back in there. Jason Chapman running down and running back on the screen. That play, good to see him back in with a shoulder problem he had before. But anytime his defensive lineman can recognize my offensive lineman released me and he disappeared, I better get down the line because I know it's a screen play.
Jason Chapman chasing outside, getting his man and getting him before they could stop the clock. Let's talk about, how about hockey? You ready for, I mean, it's the first day of fall a couple days ago. So let's talk about hockey. The University of Wisconsin against the St. Lawrence Saints. Friday and Saturday, October 7th and 8th. That's 2 weeks away. You can catch those games on Wisconsin Public Television. Both games start at 10:30. Badger hockey begins the season in less than 2 weeks. Part of this season will take them to Lambeau Field.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, a little frozen tundra hockey contest against Ohio State.
I think with the way this state reacts to sporting events, and it's going to be quite a spectacle up there at Lambeau.
They'll put some people up there. It is 2nd and 5 with 1:01 on the first half clock. Henny gives off to Martin on the right side, and he's got close to a first down. It's going to be short. Going to be short by about 1.5 yards, and it brings up 3rd down. And Michigan a little conservative and taking some time to get back to the line of scrimmage with 47 seconds to play.
I tell you, the front four for Wisconsin is getting some penetration. They're just not getting it at the point of attack. They just got to make sure that when we recognize a play, they get in there and make the play.
Martin on the delay, comes near side and with room. Now to the outside at midfield and to the 40-yard line. That's a huge play by Michigan. It is 16 yards on the pickup by Martin, and with 30 seconds to play, the Wolverines are in business.
In business and getting closer to field goal position right now, and solid blocking up front. Just a poor angle there for Wisconsin by number 22. And you know what? I guess at this point you're starting to play a little catch defense. You got to stay aggressive. You got to keep coming at him because that's worked for you up to this point.
Roderick Rogers took a bad angle on that one. Michigan first down. And the second back is Grady, and he is knocked down at the 36. And Michigan will take a timeout with 25 seconds to play.
Well, with Michigan, their 3rd and final timeout.
Well, there's the big key there. Being the 3rd timeout with 25 seconds left, the only way they'll get a field goal team on is to spike it or get the ball out of bounds.
Yep, spike it, get the ball out of bounds, get a first down, but they got to be ready to go, and that's part of what they're talking about now. You got to have your kicker and your holder especially ready. Get those guys and shuffle personnel. You got some time to do that, but you got to make sure everybody's on the same page so you don't have that mass confusion. On the flip side, the defense for Wisconsin, they're talking about all the different scenarios. You got to watch for fakes. You got to make sure that you don't get drawn off on a hard count where it forces a flag and stops the clock. A lot of different things, and this is the fun part of coaching for these guys. The chess game begins right now.
Michigan has had the better of it statistically in the first half with 238 yards of total offense, 93 for the Badgers. When you look at that, you have to feel somewhat fortunate that it is a one-score game right now, a one-possession game, so to speak, using a basketball term. But Michigan's in position to maybe make it a 2-possession game going to the half. The Badgers' defense going to have to find a way to bow their neck and stop Michigan from getting on the board here again.
Yeah, and either way this goes, it's going to be a big break for either team heading in with a lot of the momentum. If they score, they've got it. Wisconsin stops them, they go in with all the momentum.
It's 2nd and 8. Henny with a receiver near and a slot and receiver to the top of the screen. Now coming in motion is Breston. Henny wants to look deep on the right side. Double move going to the end zone. It is caught by Manningham. Mario Manningham made a great catch on a high underthrown ball at the 6-yard line.
I tell you, Levon Rowan had good coverage on that. Didn't bite on the pump fake. On the little out route, he released upfield on that, and Rowan's in position. He's got to make a play. He's got to turn and see the ball. He just turns too late. Receiver gets in front of him just that little bit to make the catch.
Now I hope they're gonna review this because he bobbles first. Now I hope that we hear a whistle here in a second.
Yep.
Because he bobbles, and I wonder if his right foot was in bounds after he gained possession. We're not gonna get a challenge. Henny back to throw. And it's dropped in the end zone. That was a touchdown catch that is dropped.
Touchdown catch dropping number 21 again. Levon Rowan making a play on that, bringing through his hand and stripping the ball away. But That was very close to a touchdown. I'm surprised, Mike, on that last play. You're right, why they didn't give that, because it was a definite bobble when he was going out of bounds.
See Manningham, he just dropped it in the end zone, but watch this, it's not controlled on the first try. There, you can see the bobble, and I don't know if he's got a foot in once he gained possession.
His left foot was out. I'm not sure if they thought his right foot touched first.
Well, that's why the rule is in place for the referee to appeal it from upstairs, and it didn't happen. It is 2nd and goal, and Henne has time, throws it out of the end zone in the right corner as a souvenir with 9 seconds to play.
And again, Michigan run a lot of crossing routes there, but that time they had guys on both sides, unlike the touchdown the first time where Avant came in and just had one single guy to cover. They brought everybody from both sides trying to cross him up, and it didn't work on their end, so he had to throw it away. Good decision on his part, but I'd watch for that same kind of thing to make sure when everybody shifts to one side, you get man-to-man coverage. It's a pretty easy throw for the quarterback.
Well, they were in the same position earlier in the quarter and ran that quick slant to the wideout. Last time it was Jason Avant, and Bell allowed him inside. And Avant again splits wide to the right, and Bell has him on the corner. Single coverage to the near side out of the screen is Manningham. And we'll get a flag before the ball is snapped.
It's like a delay of game.
Prior to the snap, delay game, number 7 offense, 5 yards. The down remains 3rd.
Well, now Michigan's brought out their field goal team. I don't know how you run 2 seconds off the game clock when you have a delay of game.
I think that's what he's going to call right now.
9.
They need to get 9 seconds back on the game clock is what. There it is. I'm surprised. Michigan being very conservative here.
I'm surprised he won't take one more shot at it.
9 seconds is plenty of time to take a shot at the end zone. They're going to be conservative, and they send out their field goal kicker, Garrett Rivas. And Rivas sneaks it in the right upright. It just did crawl inside, and it's 13-3 Michigan with 4 seconds on the clock.
I'll tell you the one thing that could happen here, depending upon how this kickoff goes, you give a chance to Williams to do something spectacular here. And I know that the coaches right now are talking about get your body on your man, know who you got covered down him, and let Brandon run because he's something special back there. And 4 seconds left that Michigan left up there could be a good thing for Wisconsin.
I would tend to believe that Michigan is going to kick it on the ground and not allow Williams to get a shot at this, but we'll see how that sets up. It is a 10-point Michigan lead with 4 seconds left in the first half. That's a big drive for the Wolverines, who got the ball back with about 1:40 to play and are able to march the length of the field. Wisconsin does keep them out of the end zone, but it is again a 2-possession game at 13-3 with 4 seconds remaining.
They're talking right now. They got the deep guys with Williams and Hampton up about the 10-yard line, so they're expecting something short that way. Just a little squib kick.
It's a bouncer that will roll to the 10 and picked up by Williams, who will just take a knee. They'll take a knee and will end the first half. I'm a little surprised at that. Why not allow one of your more dangerous weapons with the ball in his hands a free shot at something?
Yeah, I was trying to watch what the coaches were doing, and as they were talking about stuff, I would think, I mean, he knelt down at the 25-yard line right there. Give him a chance, and once they see kind of what's going on, there's a lot of space over there for him to run. But two schools of thought. One, you can get after it and see what happens. The other one is, hey, let's be safe. Let's go and make the corrections, come back out for the second half.
We'll go to the halftime locker rooms. Michigan leading the Badgers. It is 13-3, and you're watching Wisconsin football on Wisconsin Public Television.
I've got to go out and find it. I've got to find the monster. It's fantastic.
I'd run as fast as I could.
Whoa!
Sunday night at 7 on Wisconsin Public Television.
When they said I'm black and I'm proud, that meant something.
It was the age of selfishness. It was the age of self-indulgence. It was the age of anti-authority.
It was absolutely exhilarating. It was the greatest
time to be alive. Ever, for sure.
Thursday night at 8 on Wisconsin Public Television. You're watching Wisconsin Public Television, your place to grow through learning.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIVA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
And back for the second half of action at Camp Randall Stadium. Big Ten opener for the Badgers of Wisconsin and the Wolverines of Michigan. And Michigan leading it at the break 13-3. And Nelly, this is a game that to this point has been dominated by Michigan, and maybe that scoreboard is a little misleading because it appears that they would have a bigger edge with the way they've dominated the game.
Yeah, I think you can look at it two different ways. One, Wisconsin's very lucky giving up all that only to be down this much, and at the same time Michigan's wondering, we're racking up all these yards. Why can't we get points on the board? And that's where the game planning comes in now in the second half. What changes did they make at halftime to make sure either side can get that corrected?
Under the cover of darkness, the second half going to be all under the lights as the Badgers will look back here at the first half in the scoring department. First, Michigan, it came out really dominated on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. Badgers had a scoring threat early, couldn't take advantage. Now Michigan gets on the board after a running into the kicker, which was a 5-yard penalty, and then the following play is a made field goal after they had missed it initially. And the second scoring opportunity for Michigan taking advantage is Jason Avant on a quick slant in front of Brett Bell.
Yeah, you know, and that's one thing that you got to make sure as a senior that way, you got to make sure you know what's going on and take care of business.
And that's the touchdown, and it made it 10-0 Michigan in the ball game. Badgers came back on a good scoring drive of their own and kicked a field goal, and Michigan added a field goal at the end of the first half. You can see the statistics. You know, when you put up 30 rushing yards for Wisconsin, that is offset by a number of sacks. Brian Calhoun has 12 carries for 53 yards, but Michigan has gotten to John Stocco on a few occasions. That brings that total down. First downs obviously in favor of Michigan. No turnovers in the ball game. A couple of crucial penalties, although the yardage is equal or close to equal. Michigan was the benefactor of one running into the kicker and another penalty at the end of a kick by Wisconsin that was not very fortuitous.
Yeah, I guess there's two things, Mike, when you look at those stats. A couple things have to happen. Calhoun's got to get on track again like he was in that first drive. They've shut him down since that first drive, and he's been understanding, I guess, that this is now the Big Ten. It's a lot more physical than the first 3 games he has. But the big thing for Wisconsin is they're still in this game, down by 10 points. There's no turnovers. They've got to start to create some things, get some 3-and-outs, get some turnovers that this defense can come off and rest. We saw how valuable that was against Bowling Green in the first game that they had here. Once they got a chance to rest, they really came at them and did a lot of good things. Right now, they just got to make the adjustments and come out here, settle into this second half, and set the tone. Now they get to get on the field first.
Michigan will start with the ball. Melhoff's kick is again high and fielded at the 5 by Breston. He'll come to the near side and knock down at the 16-yard line. Great coverage. Ben Strickland gets down and makes the play before Breston could get ahead of steam.
And Ben Strickland and Zach Hampton, 2 guys that the coaches here know that might not get on the field as much as they want during regular snaps, but they certainly make their name known on special teams, and tremendous tackle on that, getting downfield, shedding off his blocker and making a solid tackle.
It doesn't happen very often that Somebody on kick coverage, and Nelly, you work special teams, goes down without being touched, and that time Strickland got through the blocking wall without ever having a hand laid on him.
It's someone that's watching film and recognizing who they count down, who's going to block. He just kept running away from the guy that was supposed to block him.
Michigan starts at their own 15 and the tailback, second man through. This time is Max Martin, and he is stacked up at the line of scrimmage.
Defensive line stayed in their gaps that time, gave Zalewski a chance to step up there and make a solid tackle, and the secondary comes in and cleans up. But again, a lot of that started by the surge by the front four on this defense. It gives the linebackers a chance to run.
Monty, Chapman, Hayden, and Shaughnessy up front. There's Matthew Shaughnessy, 6'6", 225 freshman from Norwich, Connecticut. Forced into duty big time last week and did a good job. Henney again recognizes something defensively, changes the play on 2nd and 8. And he'll go play action on a blitz, throws to the left side and missed his target. He was throwing for his tight end, Tim Massaquoi. It's incomplete, and it brings up 3rd down.
Massaquoi covered by number 4, Johnny White. Crossing route there, what he's got to do. Yeah, he's all wrapped up there on his hand as well. You can see he's got something over his thumb with his wrist, too. Makes it very hard for that, but Johnny White covers very, very well on the tight end like that, and the defensive back should be able to cover a tight end.
Well, now the crowd has a chance to get into it in the student end of the stadium. It is 3rd and 8. Michigan 6 of 9 on 3rd down in the first half.
It's a big play for the defense right here. Sets a tone for the second half.
See if they can get some pressure on Henney. Straight 4-man rush and time. Over the middle and dropped by Avant, who was open in front of Ikegwonu, and dropped by Jason Avant.
Ikegwonu, good position over the top of his man there. Make sure when he drops the ball that he still gives him a shot, lets him know that he was there. But I'll tell you what, they got very lucky on some of that crossing route. Number 17, Langford, was supposed to be covering a man further out on the flat that Henney didn't locate, and so they got very lucky on that play.
Ball should have been caught. It's just the second 3 and out today for Michigan. And that gives Brandon Williams a chance. A high punt, and Williams does call for a fair catch, and good idea to call for that because it hung up on him. And it's a 45-yard punt fielded and fair caught by Williams at the 37.
Yeah, he doesn't like doing that. You could see he waited till the very last minute to make that call, but it was the right decision. He had 2 of their sprinters streaming down on him real quick, and he would have got his world rocked that he not called for that fair catch.
Bernstein is in at fullback to start the second half. He didn't play a whole lot of snaps in the first half. Been battling some injuries, and the Badgers went single back for much of the first half. Bernie is the lead back in the backfield. Brian Calhoun in behind him. Calhoun gets on the delay, bops it to the outside. Now cuts inside a defender and picks up about 6 on the play.
You can see exactly what Wisconsin wants to do again, establish the run, get things going in the second half. But Michigan comes out, they've got 8 guys up in the box, and they got their strong safety coming up. They got linebackers flowing in, trying to hit every single gap and forcing Calhoun out there to run. Good thing with him is he's got the speed to turn the corner.
Second down, and they'll call it 5. Single back now is Calhoun. They'll give it to him there. Waits, comes to the near side, and is knocked down shy of the first down at the 44. And again, I think that's whether Bernstein doesn't have the durability to go today. We were not told of the nature of his injury. He did miss some practice time, I'm told, this week, and was a question mark as today began. But, you know, in the nature of college athletics now, because of the HIPAA law, they're not allowed to release information of the nature of certain injuries.
In a run like that, like you're talking about that, he's a lead blocker for Calhoun that sprung him on some of the bigger runs earlier in the season. And without him in there, you can really see how valuable he is to the running game.
It's 3rd and a long 2. Stocco on a quick drop, comes near side, has Calhoun out of the backfield. Calhoun lined up in a slot, and he'll get inside Michigan territory to the 48.
That time they kept Bernie in the backfield there to pick up as an extra blocker. They took all 4 receivers, just simple 5-yard core routes, and Stocco has his pick from each one of them and chose Calhoun. He gets a first down, gets out of bounds, and they got another 1st and 10.
So Wisconsin now on their last 2 possessions have done a pretty good job of moving the football. They did it at the end of the first half to get on the board. Michigan followed with a field goal of their own, but Wisconsin again trying to put something together, get in a little bit of a rhythm offensively. Stocko with time, wants to go deep right sideline for Brandon Williams. They say he caught it out of bounds. And this is one of those times when, was he carried out of bounds by the defender, or would he been out of bounds?
Yeah, I think he caught the pass, and I think he ended up landing out of bounds. He took up off inbounds, but he didn't come back down with the ball. You see him catch the ball, he gets taken out of bounds there. He lands out. That's a good call.
And Brandon didn't argue very much, had a laugh with the official on the sideline, and it brings up a 2nd and 10.
Yeah, that's one of the differences with pro football. You catch it, you got a chance to come down, but they carry you out. They'll call it a reception. Here in college, you got to land it with 1 foot.
It is 2nd and 10. Single back is Calhoun. Stocko underneath Raiola, takes the snap. Quick hitter on the left side. Calhoun with room inside the 40, carries the tackler inside the 40 to the 37. And that is a first down.
That's some of his toughness, getting up there, trying to make a little shifty move, realizing they're not going to bite for it again. He's a strong, tough, powerful runner that he lowers his shoulder, knows what he needs for the first down, and gets the job done.
And a big hole on that quick hit on the left side. Raiola pulling out from the center position.
Raiola out there, and you got Jason Palermo as well, sealing off the corner to give him that space to run.
15 carries, 71 yards now for Calhoun. Again, single back in the backfield. No Bernstein. Stocko again, left edge. Calhoun makes one miss. Dancing inside the 37-yard line.
They're using Jason Pachotti quite a bit more because of his size and his blocking ability to seal off the corner there for Calhoun. And he pushes a guy out there. You get Raiola coming out again. You got Palermo coming out again. And Calhoun makes a shift inside. The right move there. You see Raiola just missed one block, and 4 Michigan guys come at him. But getting to the corner is going to be key. One of these times he's going to be able to turn it. There's not going to be anybody there. They're going to seal him off pretty well.
Having a hard time getting the play in here. 15 seconds as they break the huddle to come to the line. Again, single back, 3 receivers. It is Orr to the top, Minton and Brandon Williams to the bottom of the screen. Stocko fakes the reverse, and now a middle screen to Owen Daniels, and it is open to the 25-yard line. So a bit of Wisconsin trickery there, faking the reverse and hitting Owen Daniels after Brandon Williams was the decoy.
Well, he's getting up slow a little bit there. You know, it's one thing. He got hit pretty hard by some linebackers there, but this worked last week against North Carolina. It was a touchdown actually for him that got called back. He's very comfortable going in the middle there. He's a big guy again, but he does get hit pretty hard by both guys. They're hitting him high and low.
Bulls now down to the Michigan 25. Wisconsin trying to put together a scoring drive to start the 3rd quarter. Down by 10. It is 13-3. Bernstein is in there, and Michigan appeared to jump off sides.
You got Daniels limping off to the side. The trainers are going to go take a look at them, but I think you're right. That Michigan jumped offside, made contact before the ball was snapped.
They'll talk it over. Obviously a Big Ten crew headed up by Dave Whitvet. He's the referee in the white hat, and he's pointing Michigan's way.
Prior to the snap, the defense is in the neutral zone, causing the offense to move. 5 yards, number 94. The down remains first.
Owen Daniels is on the Badger bench now, being looked at by Wisconsin trainers. That makes Jason Posiak the tight end.
Yeah, there you saw the contact force Wisconsin to move, and if we get another shot at that tackle on Daniels, you can see the one guy go low on him. He took out his leg, I think, while his foot was planted in the turf. So you can get that after this play.
That's Alan Branch that was offside. It is 1st and 5. And Stocko gives to Calhoun, and he tripped him up. Calhoun tripped over Stocko, I believe, and he is stopped for maybe a loss of a half yard on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 6, and here's that Daniels hit again.
You see just a simple tight end screen right in the middle, but he's going up. He knows he's going to get hit. He starts going high and low, but right there you see his foot was planted. Number 13 was down low, and you never like to see that.
Could be a left ankle. They're down there pretty deep. He's a good weapon. He's a big-time weapon for the Badgers. Bernstein the only back, so Calhoun is in the slot left outside of Posiak. Stocko looks right, though. Now steps up, and he'll go down. Stocko goes down behind the line of scrimmage. In on the tackle, Will Johnson.
That shows the speed that the Michigan front four have. It was 5-on-4 right there. You got all the offensive linemen for Wisconsin. Their 4 D linemen. That's just a gut check right there. They hit the gap and they got in there and collapsed the pocket. Stocko had nowhere to go.
And running right over the top of Craig Urbick. Urbick is a freshman from Hudson, and he got handled on that one. It is 3rd and 11. Williams near. White and Orr to the top of the screen, and Calhoun is offset as the lone back left. Stocko over the middle, had to hurry it and missed his target short of the mark. And it brings up a field goal chance for Taylor Melhoff.
And that's not necessarily a bad throw because he knows the defensive guy's in good position, so he throws it low and inside where only Orr can catch it. Had he waited maybe another second or two, he's got Williams dragging across a little bit underneath, who's coming open. You just got to be a little patient. But again, when you get some pressure on times like that, you start to get a little antsy in there, and he decided to throw it before he felt that.
Melhoff will try this one from 44 yards. He's got that type of a leg. See if he can be accurate. It's in the air. He's going to miss it wide left. No, he snuck it in the crossbar. Just did make it over the crossbar and snuck it in the left upright.
Tell you got to believe.
I did. I'm never going to do that again to Taylor Melhoff.
If he keeps making them, call it all you want. That's all right. I tell you, you're right. The thing watching him today, I don't know if he's connecting with the ball that well on his kickoffs. Even on this, it didn't sound like it was real solid of a connection and the point that he wants to kick on the ball, but he gets it up there, just sneaks it on the inside, like you said. It draws in. That's kind of the play I guess you want as a golfer. Brings it right in and draws it right in just like he wants to. But
a little body English. Come on, lean it, lean it, lean it.
You got DeBush helping, and you know, whatever works. Whatever works.
I'll tell you what, that did not sneak in by much. Late break on that curveball, got it in the left upright. And the Badgers have scored on back-to-back possessions and trail it by 7, 13-6. And a good scoring drive for the Badgers on that one. It's something they desperately needed. A 3-and-out for Michigan, and then an 11-play, 37-yard drive resulting in the field goal by Taylor Melhoff.
You know, this is a place now, too, that you got some points, you got the momentum going. What you got to do is get the defense back out there, maybe another 3-and-out, 3, 4, 5 plays, but create a turnover, get aggressive, get after the Michigan ball club, and let them know that, hey, that first series that we just had wasn't a fluke.
Another 1974 moment here at Camp Randall Stadium revolving around Billy Merrick, one of the great all-time backs for the Badgers. And here's Matt LePay.
To 1975, opposing defenses provided little resistance to Badgers running back Billy Merrick. A 3-time All-Big Ten selection, Merrick was the first Badger to record 3 1,000-yard rushing seasons. In one of his greatest games, he set school single-game rushing and scoring records with 304 yards and 5 touchdowns against Minnesota in 1974. An All-American his senior season, Merrick finished his career as the school's all-time rushing and scoring leader, making him part of the Camp Randall legacy.
There you see him on the field, just a little bit looking a little bit different. Terry Morawski giving him a hug on the Badgers sideline. Billy Merrick. There's Owen Daniels. Need him back in the lineup. He's moving around pretty good behind the Badger bench. See if Melhoff can get a foot into one here. I think he's missed, as Nelly, you were talking about before. I think he's missed on his kickoffs and that field goal from catching it solid. Now there's a knuckling line drive fielded at the 18, and Michigan's going to get decent field position close to the 30-yard line. And again, Melhoff hadn't caught it clean yet.
Not clean, and that was fullback Brian Thompson there on the return. Probably not the guy that you want handling the ball. He doesn't get a whole lot of returns, I don't think, that way, but at least he got in the hands of an offensive player. But I tell you, I don't know if they tried to squib that one or if he, again, is just mishitting the ball and they're trying to get some confidence build up. But Melhoff definitely has a leg to put it down the end zone.
Well, I know this is a golfer. There are times when you just don't feel it, and it doesn't look like Melhoff has caught it clean yet.
Right. What's that called, the shanks?
Yeah, well, yeah. I'm very close with those people, those terms. 1st and 10, Michigan, single back in the backfield. And Henny wants to throw. Quick slant, left side, behind the mark, and Avant couldn't make the adjustment.
one of the adjustments looks like the Badgers try to do again. They got the guys over on the left-hand side of the defense, Bell in single coverage over there, but that time Sanders starts to flow out and read Henny's eyes that way and makes a break on that. Just disrupts the vision of the receiver just for a fraction of a second, drops the ball.
Well, and I do think that if Henny puts that ball on the mark, Sanders might have gotten a hand on it. I think he might have thrown it behind because he saw Sanders out of the corner of his eye making that break. Right. It is 2nd and 10. Split backs. Henny again to throw. Late blitz coming. Sanders up the middle. Lob left sideline. It is incomplete. What a hit. What a hit by Roderick Rogers.
Now that's what we were talking about before with Rogers when the first half Michigan threw down the field. He didn't get up over the top. That time he read it, made the break before the quarterback threw it, knew where to go. He was going for the ball like that, but heck of a hit. Anytime you snap the receiver's head like that, when you're trying not to hit him, so imagine what it would if he'd gone through him that way. But that's what the Badgers need right now in defense. Creation of plays, turnovers, that kind of play, because it does exactly what it's doing now, get this crowd riled up.
Listen to that crowd. Third down, Henny to throw. Near side, tipped at the line and incomplete. It was batted at the line of scrimmage.
Big time play by that front four.
I think Chapman got a hand on it.
Chapman got up. Yep, you're exactly right. Almost knocked it down to number 4, Johnny White in the secondary, making the coverage that way. But again, Coach Palermo teaches those guys, get your hands up. Recognition when the ball is released, perfect timing on his part.
See if Brandon Williams gets a chance at one. The punter is Ross Ryan. Gets it away cleanly, and it's deep, but it's a line drive. Williams fields at the 15. Up the middle with a little bit of a seam and out to the 30-yard line where he's knocked down. But a good return by Brandon Williams on a deep kick, 54 yards on the punt from Ryan.
And Turner Booth looks like he's the long snapper on there. Williams would catch a little flack for getting tackled by the long snapper. Return man, you don't want that to happen. But I tell you, the long punt like that, he's got a chance to return that, a solid return, protect the ball.
Now, Michigan has had a great deal of success in Big Ten openers. They're looking to win their 24th straight Big Ten opener. Do you know which game preceded? Is it preceded the start of the streak? Would that be the best way to phrase that?
No, because that would be the loss.
Are we looking for the loss, or are we looking for the first win?
The first win.
We are? Okay.
Same team.
All right. Oh, it is the same.
It's the same.
Oh,
team.
That's a hint. Were we supposed to give a hint? Lloyd Carr, Big Ten championships. He's got 5. Barry's got 3, and that's pretty good company. You know, I think you kind of have to level the playing field, kind of like golf. You have to handicap the schools in that race. You know, Michigan has had better talent.
Sure.
For a lot of those seasons, maybe not all of them.
Yep.
But Lloyd Carr has turned it into some Big Ten championships: 97, 98, 2000, 2003, 2004.
You know, and he's been at Michigan actually 16 years, so I think he's been a part of more than just those 5. But as a head coach, being able to do that, he's done a tremendous job. And again, a credit to the program that he has. And it's fun to watch these guys because they certainly come in and they're prepared, ready to play no matter who they're playing.
So Wisconsin will, well, you want the answer now? Is that what we're doing? You want the answer to the trivia question? Do you know the answer?
Well, I know
Nelly,
the answer.
I've told our producer director, Deb Piper, to stop showing you the trivia question in advance.
Yeah,
because
I would have got this one because I pulled up Michigan's press release.
September 11th, right here, 1982, a 20-9 win over Wisconsin started that streak for Michigan. It also ended with Wisconsin the year before beating. And then Calhoun on the near side, roped down, collared down inside the 30 at the 29.
Yeah, a lot of people remember that. They went over to Ann Arbor with that beginning game like that for the streak, but people remember the 81 game here. Heck of a game. Michigan came in number 1. A lot of great plays going on there. That was a fun one, being from around the area that you got a chance to watch. And You know, a lot of people don't realize how good Wisconsin was before Barry got here. There's some down years, but there was a lot of talent that played in this stadium right here.
There's a report from the sideline that says that Joe Stellmacher is out for the game now with a shoulder injury. Stocco will throw. Blitz coming right side, evades it with a screen to Calhoun. Perfect play call, and it picks up 5.
Almost the same play that they set up for Owen Daniels, just a little receiver going in there. Calhoun coming out of the backfield and doing exactly what Daniels does, gets up the field in a hurry. Good blocking downfield by the lineman, too.
So good adjustment by Michigan to stop a play that was pretty well set up for a corner blitz from that same side. It is 3rd and just under 5 yards. 3rd and 4 from the 35. 2 receivers to the near side. Brandon Williams to the top of the screen. Stockwell will throw, and he has some time. Goes right side towards Williams. Missed him high and just wide of the mark, and Wisconsin is in a punting situation.
Missed him high, and what I've noticed the last couple of times that Williams has gone downfield, what they've done is they doubled him with the corner and the safety over the top, so he's not able to get downfield because they've got the coverage up and over the top. But that time he out route, just misfire from Stocco out to Williams on the sideline. Bush with a great punt right there. Back to the 8-yard line.
And a flag down on the play, and Michigan breaks it out to almost the 50-yard line. But there's a flag sitting at the 15-yard line of Michigan that may bring this one back.
Yeah, it's going to bring it back. It happened right by the receiver down there, and I'm not sure if that was a block in the back or a holding call against Michigan on that one.
And there's still no indication. They are pointing all the way back, and they're going to start walking that way. So this
During
will
the
be
return, illegal block in the back. On the returning team, number 5. Half the distance from the spot of the foul. First down.
And there it was. You saw it coming in from the left-hand side of the screen. Right on the bottom it'll be here on Jarvis Minton.
Yeah, that's a good call. Number 5 on that tried to back off a little bit. I think he realized what was going to happen, but just a little too late.
So Michigan takes over in front of the student section. Remember the time, I don't know, Nelly, if you remember when Harbaugh was down at that student section and the game was delayed about 5 minutes when Harbaugh couldn't hear enough to get off a snap when Bo Schembechler was the Michigan coach.
I remember that. They were driving into the end zone. Another flag on the play on that one. But I think that just infuriates the crowd even more. It gets them even more loud. And that was half the fun at Camp Randall here with that stuff.
Offside. Defense, number 92. 5 yards. Repeat first down.
Those are penalties that come from freshmen that are inopportune, I guess would be the mildest way to put it.
Yeah, you get them back on a penalty they just have. You don't want to give them anything free like that. And creates a 1st and 5 for a potent offense.
1st and 5, backfield. That is Grady. Coming up is Kurt Ware to make the tackle. He gets some help at the 15. It'll make it 2nd and 3.
Kurt Ware, and again, number 4, Johnny White, showing up from the safety position, filling in the alley and the gap there and bringing him down for a short gain. Seen it, I guess this game right here today, the safeties have been a lot more aggressive in their run support and recognizing is the lineman heavy, is he light on his feet, we got to pass or run, and once they make the reaction, they go at it.
White coming after Ware got his lineman held up, giving White the alley. Now Grady again, this time the offensive line surges and knocks the Badgers off the ball. Just a power ground attack there that Michigan has been noted for years.
Yeah, I think the line on that actually just had guys stalemated, and when the running back gets up in there, he sees there's no place to go. I'm just going to run right up the back of my lineman that way. That helps everything move forward, and they gain about 5 yards on that play for the first down.
So the Wolverines get out of the shadow of their own goalpost and now out at the 20-yard line with a new set of downs. 5:30 to play in the 3rd quarter and a 13-6 Michigan lead. Henny will give to the tailback, and he'll come into the hole and get taken down and pulled down by Lamar Watkins.
and Dontez Sanders.
Yeah, both those guys coming off the right-hand side looked like they had a blitz right away from the start. Both guys coming off the corner, chasing him down on the backside and making a sure tackle, wrapping him up and bringing him down for a short gain.
There you see Brett Bielema, the defensive coordinator and heir apparent as the head coach at Wisconsin.
I think he realizes the play of his linebackers really helps this young defensive front line.
And he comes near side, underneath the coverage, and now breaking out near the 40-yard line. Jason Avant. Michigan is very fond of the wide receiver screen, and they've run it for many years, and they've had great athletes at that position that have taken advantage.
Very good success. This time what they did in the first half, they just let him sit out there at the quarterback and he threw it out to him. This time Avant comes inside, gives the defense, they overreact or they overflow on that. He cuts up where there's nobody, and Sanders showing the speed that he has, chasing him down for the tackle.
New set of downs, ball at the 40-yard line. And he gives to Martin on the sweep left. Martin makes one man miss and picks up 4.
Sanders gets up limping a little bit on that one, but Martin, I tell you, he's had a pretty decent game. Not tremendous numbers, but 75 yards right now on the day. And they've been some tough yards. They've been tough yards. He's a strong, powerful runner, and he's given the Badgers some fits up to this point.
Michigan has split their offensive carries between Max Martin and Kevin Grady. Martin with 14 for 80, and Grady has 10 carries for 32 yards. 2nd and 5. Split backs. Henny will go back to pass. Quick to the left flats. And going down to a knee. And going down at the spot is Steve Breston. In college football, when you touch a knee, you're down.
Yeah, I think he just saw opening up on the inside, tried to plant pretty hard, and foot just slipped out from underneath him. But again, just a little modified version of that screen. You get Avant down there ready to block, and he sees that he's got his lead blocker down there. He tries to wrap inside, just slips on the turf.
Big 3rd down play. Michigan is 6 of 11 on 3rd down today. Four-man rush and a delay to Max Martin, who is going to be stopped short of the 1st down. Good sure tackle by Zalewski. Got carried for an extra yard, but it will be short of the 1st down, and Michigan will punt.
Yeah, Zalewski with good recognition on that, realizing it's just a delayed draw. Then you get Langford, number 17, shaking off his man on the outside and coming in to help clean up the tackle and bring him down for 4th and 1.
Another opportunity, or the scary point where Wisconsin on the punt receive here needs to make certain that Michigan punts it. And it's high and wobbly, very short to the near sideline. Lands at the 25 and takes a Wisconsin bounce back out to the 27-yard line. So just a 24-yard punt by Michigan, and Wisconsin will take over with pretty decent field position at their own 27-yard line. Tell you what Michigan's got coming up next. After Eastern Michigan a week ago and here at Wisconsin today, they go on the road to Michigan State next Saturday. And that is not easy going for anybody. Michigan State just blew out Illinois today. And then they get Minnesota and Penn State at home and at Iowa. So the meat of their schedule is early, and then Ohio State always their final game of the season. But Wisconsin and Michigan State on the road, Minnesota and Penn State at home, and then at Iowa.
Yeah, and back-to-back stuff with that. Wisconsin, obviously, a heck of a ball game going on right now. Michigan State, who's reeling a little bit from last year, they were up in the big house against Michigan, who came back and beat them. So they've got something to prove this year over at Michigan State. And you know, I think the conference this year, you're going to see some shuffling going on with some different teams this year.
And the Badgers a little home heavy early with Michigan this week and Indiana next week. Then back-to-back road games at Northwestern and at the Dome in Minnesota before Purdue comes in for a homecoming game on October the 22nd Then it's on the road to Champaign and a visit with the Fighting Illini on the 29th. One of the things that we'll talk about as the season goes on is Wisconsin plays 12 consecutive games.
Right.
There's no bye on the Wisconsin football schedule this year. The bye is when they are playing at Hawaii. That's their Big Ten off week. With 11 teams in this league, there's always a team off, and Wisconsin's doesn't come until the season is over.
That's not a bad place to spend your bye week, so to speak. But
I actually get a fortunate trip out for that with the women's basketball team. They're playing in an Islands tournament at the same time, so I'll be out enjoying that.
There you go.
Yeah.
I tell you, looking at Wisconsin's schedule, the teams that won today, they're going to be the difficult ones they have at home. Their schedule is set up really nice.
Stocko on a play action rolls to the right, and now will run it. He'll get close to a first down before diving forward. Stocko not known as a great runner. Tyler Donovan, the backup quarterback, is considered to be the more gifted runner.
Yeah, it looks like he got the first down on that, but he made a decision. He knew he was going to do it. Pachotti realized that he was running down the field, turns, locates a man, gives him a chance to step forward for another 5 yards and a first down. But that's some of the smarts that he's acquired over the last year and a half of playing this game, recognizing what the defense gives him and taking advantage of it.
It is a first down, and Orr on that late drag across was going to be covered by Brandon Engelman. So a good decision for Stocko. And a big broom throw the near side for Calhoun. He'll get out to the 48.
You get Joe Thomas, Matt Lawrence, Donovan Raiola, Pachotti clearing the way for Calhoun on that and doing a good job sealing off blocks. Palermo coming around and pulling on that and sealing off the linebacker. Tremendous job on his part to spring Calhoun for a big gain.
19 carries and 80 yards now for Brian Calhoun. And a first down at the 48. Wisconsin starting to find some offensive rhythm. Calhoun pops it to the outside, needed a block. He'll be dragged down at the 48. If he'd have gotten a block on the outside there from the receiver outside, I believe was Jarvis Minton. Had he gotten a block from Minton, he might have been off.
Yeah, Brandon White, I think, was actually the guy out there, Mike, with the receiver on that. Good job blocking downfield. Didn't know exactly where he was, but the cornerback for number 29, Leon Hall there for Michigan, good job of shedding that block and making sure that he couldn't come back and block him off the corner. But I think you're right. Had he blocked him, turned that corner, Calhoun's running for a long distance.
Inside of a minute to play in the third quarter. 2nd and 7. Calhoun on the stretch near side, kind of blown up by the defensive end. A great defensive play there by Michigan. Blew it up.
Blew it up, and then you see again the speed and flow of the linebackers coming in to make sure when Calhoun does make a cut that they're there to make sure they make the tackle. But that was a tremendous play by number 80 there.
Alan Branch, he does a great job.
Actually, the nose tag, I think they just shifted him over into basically a defensive tackle position. He just flat out beat the guy across him, pushed him deep in the backfield, forced Calhoun around.
Big play in this ball game right now. 3rd and 11. And Stocko from the shotgun. With a blitz coming. Comes near side. Calhoun with plenty of room. To the 40 and the 39-yard line. And that's a first down.
Big Joe Thomas, Antoine Randall out there. Number 76, Matt Lawrence out there leading the way downfield. And that's just a quick thing. Stocko setting it up. Calhoun getting out there. Number 6 for Michigan, Prescott Burgess.
It's the end of the quarter.
Didn't recognize it quick enough, but Calhoun got around the corner, full head of steam with a lot of guys in front of him.
Calhoun being looked at as the third quarter comes to a close. Calhoun comes up gimpy. It is Michigan 13, the Badgers 6, 1 quarter to play. This is Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television.
Thank you for watching Wisconsin Public Television. Now let us know what you think about the program you've just watched or any of our programs by calling 1-800-253-1158 or by emailing us at comments@wpt.org. Wisconsin Public Television belongs to you. Thanks for letting us know what you think.
Coming from director Martin Scorsese.
He not busy being born, is busy dying.
Every Everything you thought you knew about Bob Dylan is about to change. Bob Dylan looks back to where it all began. No Direction Home. Bob Dylan, a Martin Scorsese picture.
Monday night at 8 on Wisconsin Public Television. This is Wisconsin Public Television, your place to grow through learning.
Presentation of Badger football on Wisconsin Public Television is made possible in part by Goodman's Jewelers. John Hayes of Goodman's Jewelers, proud of the tradition started by Robert and Irwin Goodman. Goodman's Jewelers, the diamond store of Madison since 1933. News Talk 1310 WIBA AM and ESPN 1070. The Badgers play here. The Mendota Gridiron Club, the official fundraising organization for University of Wisconsin football. University Athletic Department, with official information about Badger athletics on the web. The Wisconsin Alumni Association, connecting, enriching, and serving UW-Madison alumni and friends for more than 140 years. UWalumni.com. And by the Badger Fund, the Wisconsin Athletic Department's annual fundraising program, 14,000 donors, supporting 750 Badger student athletes.
Well, that looks like fun. That does look like just a bit of fun.
The hair or the jumping
well,
around?
The whole thing. The hair, the whole student deal, the House of Pain, the jumping. That's all. It's a little long for me, though. I don't know how I can jump the whole
I don't think
length
so.
of the song.
I tell you, looking at this might be the first visiting team that's jumped around with everybody. Michigan's out there having some fun, and you like to see that because you know Wisconsin has fun with their home crowd and their fans, but you know those guys are out there. They're playing hard. And they're working extremely difficult situations and on the road, but yet this is about having fun out there and making sure that you continue to do that.
Booker Stanley's in at tailback right now as they continue to check on Brian Calhoun, make sure he's okay to go. So Booker is in there for the first time today. 1st and 10 of the Michigan 39, and Booker on a pitch left. Quickly into the line of scrimmage, and he's dragged down right at the line. Maybe he got back to the line of scrimmage. And Calhoun doesn't come out on the field for the second down play either.
Yeah, Bernstein on the lead block on that one, coming off the field as well. And I think you said it all game long, limited action for him. But I watched Calhoun a little bit during the break there, and he's up and about. He got some water. It looks like he's just kind of getting ready to gather himself a little bit and ready to get back in on the play.
He's kind of favoring that right leg as he's on the sideline there. You see him. It is 2nd down and 10. Stanley the lone back, and Stocko looks to throw left side, and it's dropped. He went to Posiak, and Posiak just flat out dropped it. Calhoun comes back out, as does Owen Daniels for the big 3rd down and 10.
Yeah, and Posiak doesn't get many chances to catch the ball, but that one hit him right in the hands, right in the numbers. That's one he has to bring in. Creates a 3rd and long as opposed to a 3rd and 5.
That's a big drop. Big play coming up here. Badgers have been fond of the screen or the quick flat pass to Calhoun. Also Brandon Williams, who's not had a big day. Just 1 catch for 7 yards. Stocko will fake to the flat, and now tight end screen to Daniels. Picking and choosing. He's close too, and he's got a 1st down.
Again, recognizing what he's got to get, thinking he's going to break outside, feels the defense converging, realizes where he's at for the sticks for the 1st down, lowers his shoulder, gets the 1st down. Again, that's senior and junior play coming in. A lot of experience right there with Owen Daniels. You'll see him just turn up the field. I got to get to that line. I know where I got to go, and he gets the job done.
I really do think the fake by Stocko drew the safety to the outside on Calhoun, who is such a weapon.
And you got to account for him each and every play, and that's some of the stuff, simple things that just frees a linebacker or the safeties.
Badgers now 5 of 12 on 3rd down today. Inside the 30, 1st down. Near side Calhoun with a block on the outside of the 25 to the 20. He kept his feet, and he's out of bounds just shy of the 20-yard line.
He's just rumbling and stumbling out there, makes a little move, thinks he's going to cut upside, gets out to the corner again. I think that he kept his feet safely through there, he would have been able to turn the corner a little bit better. Number 31 just trips him up enough, but Brian working hard for every single yard that he got on that run.
Calhoun gets it down to the 20, brings up second and just a yard. And Calhoun approaching 100 for the day. Calhoun now with 22 for 88 on the ground. 2nd and 2. Bernstein back in as the lead. Calhoun gets it behind Bernie. Left side, going to be very close to the mark on the sticks. And by the way they're walking in, it should be a first down. They're going to stop the clock and take a look.
It looks like the side judge is saying, yep, first down, absolutely. They go to the bread and butter off the left side. Off the left side with Joe Thomas and Matt Lawrence. Posiak over there clearing the way for Calhoun to get the first down. Not a real crazy call, but just a simple play that they know they can get 2, 3, 4 yards if they need it.
Badgers need to find the end zone to tie it inside of 13 minutes and 20 seconds in the game. And now they're going to be in a position to take a timeout. Oh, you hope that doesn't come back to haunt you. They had some time, but they were a little confused in getting lined up.
It looked like they had some personnel issues with both tight ends in there with Daniels and Posiak on that. And anytime you get that, guys look at each other and like, okay, who's supposed to go out? And even though you got some time on the clock, you want to make sure you do things right, because this situation here in the red zone, they've got to capitalize. This time it can't be 3 points. It's got to be going for a touchdown.
Brian Calhoun has 130 yards of total offense today in receiving and rushing, and Big Ten all-purpose yardage leaders. He leads the league coming into today's play, along with Lawrence Maroney just a couple of yards back. But Calhoun having a good day with plenty of time left, and 130 yards, 90 on the ground, 40 in the air. You see Brandon Williams up there too, mainly receiving, and then the 2 return yards jump out at you there, don't they?
Yeah, he's a threat that I think they use it. It might not be an offensive weapon necessarily on the offensive side of the ball, but field position game where he can get some big returns on kickoff and punt returns. And when you've got a guy like that, instead of starting at the 15-yard line, now you're up at the 30, 35-yard line time and time again. You just shorten the field that you got to play on, and good things are going to happen with a team that just grinds it out like Wisconsin has done these first few weeks of the season. They're able to just maintain and control the ball, and they're starting to gain, even take over as far as time of possession in this ball game today.
83,722 in the house today. That's the second largest attendance figure in Wisconsin football history. We certainly love for this evening to end on a winning note.
Yeah, with all the rain that was forecast and that stuff, it certainly turned out with a little bit of rain early, drizzle off and on, but right now this is perfect September football weather.
Badgers will have it 1st and 10 at the Michigan 18-yard line with 13 minutes and 15 seconds left on the game clock. This current drive has been a good one for Wisconsin. They have been very good so far in the second half. Already it's 10 plays and 55 yards with more than 4 minutes taken off the clock.
One thing that their defense has done too as far as drives for this half, they've forced 3 punts on 3 possessions by Michigan, which means they're getting off the field, they're rested. So in crunch time in the later part of the fourth quarter, they're going to be rested and ready to go.
Badgers have settled for 2 made field goals in the red zone today. This time they needed to punch it in. Calhoun, the trail back through, hops into the outside, runs out of a tackle to the 10, inside, and he steps out of bounds inside the marker. It's going to be first down and goal to go. Ball inside the 8-yard line.
I tell you, 2 things that I noticed watching him run. Tremendous balance. Obviously good speed, but you see him when he's running down the sideline there, 3/4 of his body is running out of bounds. His feet are staying inside the boundary that way, and he's getting for the first down. He just fancy footwork right there. But remember a few years ago, a guy by the name of Ron Dane, every time the announcer called his name, the crowd would do it. He's starting to earn the respect this way right now. With when they call Calhoun, this crowd's getting behind him, and it's exciting to see.
It's 1st and goal. Ball is at the 7. Bernstein is the lead back. Michigan showing blitz. Bernie picks it up. Stocco throws left corner, and he overshot, and well done to throw that one out of the end zone because Posiak was covered.
Yeah, that was a great pickup by the offensive line there, and Bernstein on that to pick up the blitz. He had tremendous coverage downfield by the secondary and the linebackers from Michigan. He had nowhere to go but out that way, and better throw it there than try and force it in there and cause an interception when you're down this far.
2nd and goal at the 7. Jonathan Orr comes to the near side. Make that Brandon White to the near side. And the slot is Owen Daniels. I backfield. Calhoun on the delay. Michigan is all over it. Knocks him out of bounds at the 8. Calhoun lost probably 2 yards on the play, and it brings up 3rd and goal, and now it's at the 9-yard line.
Lost a couple yards. Good defensive call there by Michigan. Guys doing what they need to do, get in the gaps and make sure he's got no place to run. And now Wisconsin's bringing in some wide receivers, going to try and spread it out a little bit, and at least take one shot in the end zone there with some big guys.
Well, Wisconsin has had to settle twice today. You'd like for him to be able to punch it in here. Field goal doesn't do you a whole ton of good, but you've got to get points out of it some way. Single back is Calhoun, offset right. Stocko to throw. Goes deep over the middle for Daniels, and he shot him long, and out of the end zone it goes. And the Badgers fail on 3 shots inside the 7-yard line. 2 passing completions sandwiched around a run that lost 2 yards.
Michigan just played a simple 2-deep coverage on that. The safety just stayed on the hash. Corners checked their guys and then dropped off into the corners of the end zone and tried to get Daniels splitting the linebackers and the safeties there, but just overthrew them.
You know, a play that Wisconsin just doesn't run anymore, and its personnel is a lot of times under Bollinger, they'd run an option in that position,
right,
and get an option run when they got it inside the 10-yard line that worked very well. Melhoff on a field goal attempt. He's perfect. He's 3 for 3 on the night. And the Badgers cut the lead to 4 at 13-9. But Michigan holds, keeping Wisconsin out of the end zone, and the opportunity to tie the game goes by the board. And with 12:47 to play again, it will rest a little bit on the Badger defense to get one more stop and give Wisconsin another chance.
Yeah, and the good thing with that is they still got points. I still think you got to try and get in the end zone. And again, the red zone, they haven't been as successful as Michigan has been, but you got to try and do something, and somebody's got to step up and rally the guys down there, say, hey, we're down here. We haven't been down here a lot today, but we got to make something happen, and it can't be 3 points. There's a little personal pride check on that that's got to happen. And again, they got points. They're still in this game. There's still plenty of time, but you put a touchdown on that, and this crowd erupts, and this place becomes yours for the taking. And the good thing is you got a good kicker, you got good coverage teams, you got a defense that has come out for 3 drives now with Michigan and shut them down. And if they can do that again, get the ball to an offense that's got some momentum and is feeling like they can do a few different things now as opposed to run up the middle, run outside. They've been able to make some passes, big 3rd down conversions, and Stocko's starting to get a little bit into the groove that he had a hard time getting into in the first half.
Associate head coach on the Michigan sideline is familiar to Wisconsin fans. He was offensive coordinator here under a few different coaches, including, I believe he was under Dave McClain at one point. Fred Jackson on the Michigan sideline. And this also brings us to talk about Laverne Van Dyke, an assistant coach at Wisconsin under 4 different coaching staffs, including John Jardine. And Laverne Van Dyke passed away recently, and our condolences to his family. A long stint at the University of Wisconsin, well known in the area. And the Badgers trail it by 4 with 12:47 to play, and Melhoff, who's been perfect on field goals, will put a foot into it from the Badger 35. Breaston, one of the deep receivers, and man, is he dangerous.
Yeah, he's showing some flashes of the talent that he is. Be interested to see if they go at him again or try and kick away from him this time.
Ben Strickland hit him to open the second half, and that was a big play to kind of turn a little bit of the momentum to start the second half. I believe they kind of gave Wisconsin the green light for Melhoff to go get it, and then they pulled him back as he started his approach. So they'll set him up again. And Melhoff this time hits his best one of the night, and it will go 4 yards deep, and
He's
Breaston came out after stutter stepping, and the Badgers get him at the 8.
That's a huge play right there, Mike, and I tell you, he's got to be aware of his surroundings, knowing where he's at. He's also got to rely on his deep guy back there, his partner back there, that keeps him back in the end zone. Number 13 says, wait, try and keep him. He didn't even pay attention to him. Once he crosses that line, he's got to go. That's where the Badger coverage team and on the kickoff coverage that way. Tremendous job. Defense has got to step up here and take advantage right now at the 8-yard line.
Ball is at the 8. You can see the big hit laid in down there by the Badgers. Kamoku on the hit in Michigan with Chad Henne under center. And it gets loud. Slant right side, low and incomplete.
Called it off the turf. Roderick Rogers.
One official calls it no good. The official, the back judge, was getting an earful from the Michigan sideline. And if they get a replay of this one, they might look at it.
I tell you, the one guy that probably had the better view is the guy coming in from the side there. And, well, that's pretty close from that angle.
I don't know that you can tell from that angle. Maybe this one you can't.
It's dropping pretty quick. That looked like a catch on that one.
Looks like a catch, and they might get a review on this one. Burl Sells next door. And you're going to get a review on this one.
The previous play is being reviewed.
Well, you know, now here's the deal on instant replay. Not to reiterate what we've talked about for a long time, but there has to be a preponderance of proof of evidence on a replay to overturn the call made on the field. The call on the field is incomplete.
Right.
Is the replay so crystal clear that they'll change the call on the field?
Yeah, and if it's not, they're going to call back down and just say it's a pretty simple call. You write one down on the field, but I tell you, that last angle that we saw looked like he pulled it up before it hit the turf.
And now, you know, as I said, the booth is right next to us, and there's Michigan fans down below us lobbying for the call, and there's Wisconsin fans lobbying against the Michigan fans. So I got Michigan fans looking at us. We got Wisconsin fans looking at the Michigan fans, and Verl Sell, the instant replay official in the booth next to us, is all the while trying to make the call.
He's not looking at anybody. I tell you, the only thing on that right there is it looks like he initially picked it up, but as he's falling to the ground, did he have possession and control of it before his body spun and hit the ground?
Well, to me, with the conversation going on with the referee, Dave Whitvet, I believe they're just trying to put a mark on the ball. I think they're going to call this a catch, and they want a clock and a mark on the ball. So I think it's going to be called a catch.
After review, the catch is good. It'll be second down on the 17-yard line. Michigan's ball, second down.
I don't know why Lloyd Carr is so upset. He just got the call his way. So what the heck is he still complaining about?
One more time right there. It looks like he picked it up right there. And again, that's the only thing you couldn't quite tell is that he had it cradled in there before he hit the ground. But
good enough for the instant replay.
Yeah, I think that's a good call.
Well, I'm going to disagree with you, Nelly, but maybe I'm more of a homer than you are.
Hey.
Second down and 1. Henne with 2 backs sliding in the backfield, and Max gets it second back through, and the ball's on the turf. And Wisconsin has it. Oh, how about that one? First turnover of the ball game. Max Martin puts it on the ground.
That's huge right there, Mike. And I tell you, I'm not so sure who got it. They just a flag thrown up right there. But I want to say Johnny White came in and made the contact again. Guy that's been showing up all day long, filling in from a safety spot.
And somebody's going to get 15 yards. It's either going to go 15 yards closer to the end zone, or it'll go 15 yards back upfield. Now, the call has already been made that it was Wisconsin ball.
Here he comes in there. Yep, Johnny White filling in from his safety spot, ripping on the ball. Sanders coming over to help clean up, and Zalewski fighting in there right away. Looks like there Michigan has it, but it's still bouncing around. And then it's just a melee underneath down there, and Wisconsin comes up with it.
I don't know how Adam Krause has the ball, I believe, or 67. Matt Lentz goes down on it first.
Wisconsin recovered. After the play, personal foul, number 65, White. After distance to the goal line, first down.
All right, huge opportunity now for Wisconsin. They're going to get half the distance to the goal and take over 1st and 10 on the Michigan 12.
And I'll tell you, Mike, I'll go back to that call that Michigan just got. Maybe you were right. You know, it's kind of the fate thing coming in here. Maybe it was the wrong call, and And Wisconsin gets one right there. But I tell you, this is a time you're down 4 points. You got to put it down, and you got to make sure Michigan knows that they're in a dogfight here. This isn't just some gift that they gave us. This is not 3 points here. Now they got to put it in the end zone.
You don't want to finish this down 13-12. It is 1st and 10 at the Michigan 12. See if Wisconsin goes power. Calhoun behind. Bernstein pops it to the outside. Now cuts inside and goes to the 7. And that is a great piece of running from Brian Calhoun.
Again, being patient enough to realize where he's supposed to go, but once he makes his decision to go, he goes, and he's quick about it. But having Bernie in there, you know, whether he's hurt or not, he's going to start feeling the juices start flowing here and knowing that we're this close, we got to make something happen. No more, again, field goals at the 7-yard line.
Calhoun now over 100 yards on the day, 26 for 105 against a vaunted Michigan defense. 2nd and 5, just outside the 6-yard line. Calhoun to the outside, hops it to the 5, to the 3, to the pylon. Touchdown!
That's huge right there. Calhoun, again, talk about patience and doing the right thing, but you want to know what made that play? Jason Palermo, the right guard, pulling and getting out there, realizing he's got a linebacker flowing, turning and sealing him off. That sprung Calhoun for a good 5-yard burst, gave him the momentum to get in the end zone. A great job by his senior guard there, Jason Palermo. Calhoun finishing the deal.
It's a big extra point coming up. They're going to review this one. They're going to see if the ball gets the pylon, and I'm pretty sure it does.
Right there, you saw Palermo break down and make the sealed block, and Calhoun fighting for it.
There is no doubt that that is a touchdown. They're going to look at this one, and then the crowd gets to roar again.
It won't take very long. Watch Palermo here on the right side of your screen turn in and seal off number 37. That's the one that did it right there. That sprung Calhoun for 6.
And again, we get this drama unfolding in front of us, and people looking up. We have nothing to do with the replay, but it is a touchdown. And now Melhoff is going to have the extra point opportunity here, and it will be a big one because it would give Wisconsin a 3-point lead.
After review, the play stands as ruled. It's a touchdown.
They get double the excitement for their money on that. They get the touchdown twice.
You think we could petition the Big Ten to like assist and replay? Since we can't see it, everybody looks at us anyways.
If they wouldn't have fogged our window between us and Burrell Cell, we would have had a couple of assists. Big extra point. And it's good.
Got it. Yep.
So it is a 3-point Badger lead with 11:34 to play. And when you get Wisconsin and Michigan at night at Camp Randall to open the season, Nelly, this is what you hope for, and this is what we've got.
This is a heavyweight fight that Coach Alvarez loves being in. He did it at Iowa. He did it at Notre Dame. He's done it in his time here at Wisconsin. He loves this type of atmosphere. He loves guys, teams coming in and expecting that we're just going to show up and play. And his guys show up ready to get at it. I'll tell you, that left side again with Palermo pulling, there's no reason that they can't get off those blocks, but he does a tremendous job, turns off and seals Chris Graham, the inside linebacker who's flowing, read the play perfectly, but Palermo steps up and makes a play.
Calhoun now 27 for 111 yards and a touchdown, and there aren't many backs in the country that get in the end zone on that play.
No, we've seen him get down to the goal line, lower shoulder, run people over to get in there. This time you saw the speed, just the desire. He wants to get in the end zone. He knows how important that was, put his team up that way. Tremendous effort all around on the offense. Started by a great effort by the defense.
So the Badgers force the game's first turnover and capitalize by getting it into the end zone for the first time today. And Melhoff, feeling a little juice, puts this one deep, and Breston will stay in the end zone.
That tight, you saw the communication, Breston coming over at number 13, then Grant Mason making sure he knew, stay in here. Can't afford another mistake like that.
Badger defense has been perfect in the second half, but they need to be good again now. Game not on the line yet, not with 11.5 minutes to play, but they have done a good job with Michigan forcing a 3-and-out, a 3-and-out, a 7-play drive that ended in a punt, and a 2-play drive that ended in a fumble. That's all in the second half.
This is where you got 11 guys on defense, and you got 80,000 people cheering for him.
Yeah, you got a 12th man in a big house, second largest in stadium history. And Henning Give to the second back. That's Grady. And Grady is stacked up after a gain of 3.
Matt Shaughnessy getting in there for the first contact on that. You got Zalewski coming over and filling in. Then you get all the slew of everybody else. Sanders, Langford, Watkins, Hayden, Chapman, you name it. One of those guys had contact on him and brought him down.
And that's assignment football. Shaughnessy didn't make the tackle, but he was at home, and everybody stayed at home and made the play. It is 2nd and 7. Slot backs in the backfield. And Michigan going to take a timeout. Play clock had time with 5 seconds left, but Kenny didn't like what he saw.
And when you don't like that and you're in a situation like this with 11 minutes, plenty of time again for them to do it, but they want to make sure they don't screw up, have a fumble, have an interception. They want to make sure they've got everybody on the same page. What this does is helps the defense rest, keeps the crowd active and into this whole thing. Let them sit down and enjoy a little bit of rest like the team. And when they come back out, this place will erupt.
Michigan had 268 yards in the half. They got 66 yards in the 3rd quarter. So it was not a whole lot of offense in the 3rd quarter for the Michigan Wolverines. Wisconsin doing a good job defensively, making the adjustments at the break that have shut down the Wolverines here in the 3rd quarter.
You know, and I'm not so sure how many adjustments they've really made as far as game plan. What they've done a little bit is and challenged some guys, made sure that they're in position. Sanders flowing in his zone underneath when you've got man coverage, making sure he reads things better, making sure you got your secondary, again, filling up in the alleys with the safeties. And your linemen rotating some guys through, but now you haven't seen a whole lot. Now you got guys that are jacked up, ready to get going here. They want to be out there. Leave me on the field. Don't sub me anymore. I'm ready to go. And some of those adjustments are just more psychological, mental stuff, maybe not personnel or game plan.
23 straight Big Ten opening wins for the Wolverines, and the Badgers lead them by 3 with under 11 minutes to play. Henny has to check again at the line of scrimmage on 2nd and 8. Play action. He's looking deep left side. He'll throw it, and it's intercepted by Sanders. Make that the interception, picked off instead by Johnny White.
I'll tell you, Johnny White right now is having a career game. Forced a fumble the last time out, made a pick here on this one. He's been mixing it up all day in the alley, forcing guys to make cuts to the linebackers. Just tremendous job. Everything he's reading is right on the money right now, and he's making plays for this team and getting the offensive ball. Tremendous job on his part, reading that, being in position, reading the eyes of the quarterback, and taking advantage of it.
When you talk about reading the eyes of the quarterback, Henny never left his man on that play.
He went the whole way with them, and all White had to do was just keep float, wait for the ball to go and break on it. Tremendous job.
Pass was intended for Avant, and Wisconsin takes over at the 35. Calhoun hops to the outside, now spins a late flag. 2 of them come in, and they're going to get a holding call on Wisconsin.
I think it's going to be on Thomas. Off the side there, he spun his guy around, didn't give him a chance to release to try and get to Calhoun, but
it's either Thomas or Matt Lawrence. It came on the left side. It was thrown from 2 different areas. So they're going to push Wisconsin back on this one.
During the play, holding, offense number 78, 10 yards from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
I believe it was meant to be 76.
Yep.
Let's look at the interception one more time. Back-to-back turnovers, and a good look here at what White does.
He's just reading the eyes and flowing over there, and once the quarterback goes to release it, he's just in perfect position. He's playing his little underside, outside zone technique, and the flat there, and simple catch for him.
It's 1st and 20, and Wisconsin needs to be able to take some time off the clock. You'd love to get points off the turnover as well. Stocko from the 45, looks to throw, under pressure, comes near side, and he throws the interception back. Michigan gets it back on the interception near side, and I don't know if that was a miscommunication between Stocko and his receiver, because the receiver went down the field and Stocko threw it as though he had a curl or a hook route, and it's picked off instead by Grant Mason.
Yeah, I think what happened on that was just exactly what you said, miscommunication, receiver breaking down. Stocko thinks he's going to come back for the ball. He throws it. You got Orr releasing downfield on that. Receiver read one thing, quarterback read another, and forced a turnover.
Well, 2 quick changes in very rapid succession here, and Michigan gets it back at their own 39. Defense has to do it again. Henny gives to Grady on the right side stretch. He has room and gets the 45.
You know, one thing that neither team has really done after a big turnover is try to go downfield with what they call a sudden change. A lot of times you catch the defense kind of try and scramble and figure out what's going on because they just came off the field. A lot of times they try and get downfield on that, but both Michigan and Wisconsin have decided to go with running plays each time on the turnover. Boy, not bad calls, but
Zalewski took a shot on that stretch play to the right on the last play by Michigan. He got back up. It is second and short. And Grady on the cutback gets midfield and to Wisconsin territory at the 49.
Yeah, Zalewski, I think you're right. He's shaking out the cobwebs a little bit there. He actually flowed over the top of that, just pursued a little too hard. Didn't even lay a hand on Grady, but normally you'd see Mark step in there and go head-to-head with him. Right now, just a time, okay, get my breath, relax, make sure I read my keys and make a play, because he did get rocked a couple plays ago.
And I don't know if we're going to see Max Martin again for Michigan because of the fumble. Kevin Grady is just a freshman from Grand Rapids at 5'9", 227, and he's running hard right now.
That's a load coming at you.
Chad Henne under center. And a pitch back. This is one of the exotics. Going deep over the middle. Got a man. Touchdown, Michigan. You know it happens. We talked about it prior to the game. They run an exotic between the 40s after a quick change, and 2 plays after the interception, they work the give and go for a touchdown.
Yeah, they just set it up, a couple simple runs. And you get Grady coming in there, running hard, and then all of a sudden hand off to him again, flip it back, and they're picking on number 17, Alan Langford, who's been on a couple things as a freshman. He's got to understand the situation of things. Don't let somebody get deep behind you. With the speed that Michigan receivers have, you can't let them get on the top of you.
And there's no safety because of the run bite.
Right.
And the extra point is on the way, and good. Because there's no safeties on the play action, which actually was a handoff and the pitch back,
right,
the safeties are out of play.
Yeah, and that's where when you got man-to-man coverage and the safeties are flowing so hard in the alley because that's part of their run support, they've got to be there for that. The corners have to make sure that they're playing sound fundamentals. And I think Langford even bit a little bit on the run that way, and that's where that separation came from with the Michigan receiver.
So the Wolverines do what they do. Against Wisconsin, this is what they've done.
Yep.
This has been their MO. They'll get one big home run hit on an exotic, which is what Wisconsin's coaching staff calls, you know, one of the trick type plays.
Right.
And they've always seemed to hit it against Wisconsin, and they do here, and it could not be bigger.
Yeah, that was a huge play, but they do it, they set things up enough with the run because they go so hard that way. They get the defense flowing, coming up into the alleys, like we said, with the strong safety and free safety, that when they see that, the coaches up in the box here watch certain things on certain plays to see what type of reaction they get based on the coverage they have, and it's a guessing game, but if they get somebody that's biting pretty hard, they're going to go at them, and that's what happened in that last play.
See if Brandon Williams gets a shot here. It's deep into the corner, and Brandon is going to come out from 1.5 yards deep in the end zone. He's got a little alley up the left sideline, and he breaks through the 40. Almost to midfield, and Brandon Williams, I'll tell you what, that's a pretty good kickoff. It's in the corner, it's 2 yards deep in the end zone, and Williams still brings it out deep.
Yeah, and Williams, you know, he hasn't touched the ball a whole lot on offense, but when he gets his chance, he's electrifying, and guys no blocking for him. All it takes is a little bit of break. The difference that you see with him now is he's running really hard, but in the Big Ten, you've got guys that are just as fast, where before he could take that preseason with some of the non-conference games, he's able to go the distance. Now you see the speed that Michigan has.
8:56 on the game clock. 1st and 10, Wisconsin at the 46. Down 4. Calhoun with a seam. He'll get the midfield, and he'll get inside the Michigan 48-yard line. Pickup of 6, maybe 7.
A little talking going on by the offense and defensive line, and you'd hate to see something like that take away from what has amounted to been a great game. And Calhoun's still running hard. Michigan defense is still coming at him. And again, it's a dogfight out there. It's going to be a gut check down the stretch here the last 8.5 minutes. See who's got more want in this game.
Yeah, got to see who has the heart now. Michigan takes advantage of a Wisconsin turnover just after Wisconsin took advantage of a Michigan turnover. Calhoun bounces left. Oh, he's got room on the outside. One man on the corner. He steps inside to the 35-yard line. That's a good open field tackle by Grant Mason because Calhoun had him isolated.
Yeah, he's shifty out there, and good breakdown and making sure when you come up on a guy like that is that shifty, pick a side, don't let him get back to it. But again, Jason Palermo pulling, making a cut block on the linebacker who read the play, but springing him out to the outside just like they did on the last touchdown Wisconsin had.
Badgers have it at the Michigan 36, and Calhoun continues to rack up the numbers. 29 carries and 129 yards, 5 catches for 40 yards. And a fresh set of downs. Calhoun gets it with a seam up the middle. He'll get the 30 and the 29 maybe.
One thing
That's
you're
another
starting
6.
to see, yeah, exactly. He's starting to get the offense is spreading out with the receivers. They're pulling out the safeties. They're pulling out the corners a little bit. Their splits are a little bit wider, and so it forces the linebackers to spread out, and that opens up the middle. Once they get a body on a body, Calhoun has a couple different spots to go, and he's trying to make one guy miss. So far, the linebackers been able to attack him, but still 5-6 yards a crack. You can't ask for more than that.
And you just know that the head coach doesn't want to throw the ball after the last interception.
Do that, you start running the clock here. You're getting first downs. There's no need to do that.
Second and less than 5, a quick snap, and I think Wisconsin center Raiola snapped it because he thought Michigan was in the neutral zone, but there is no flag. And now that's a wasted down. It brings up 3rd and 6.
Yeah, there's no flag on that, and that's exactly what Raiola thought. He felt the guy who was actually the nose guard, he felt him come across, tried to snap it, but looks like Michigan got back in time.
And Raiola's saying he got hit in the face mask here, and that's why he snapped it. And there's no flag.
Smart play by Stocko, at least cover it up.
It's a big play. And maybe their helmets did touch.
That could have been close there, yeah.
I don't know how you don't call that. It is 3rd and 5, and now maybe a passing situation. Stocko swings it. Calhoun, Michigan reads it, and a flag is down. And Calhoun is down at the 31, and I believe the penalty will be against the Badgers. So a huge turn of events in back-to-back plays. First, the quick snap by Raiola, which doesn't draw a flag, and then the pass out of the backfield.
Illegal block in the back. Number 72 offense. 10 yards from the spot of the foul. Repeat, 3rd down.
Well, I'm surprised that Michigan took the penalty.
Yeah, I am too.
If they don't take it, Wisconsin has to punt or kick a very long field goal.
Right.
And now you give the Badgers an opportunity on 3rd and 15.
Yeah, another opportunity that they showed a couple series ago that they can capitalize on. And they got some big guys out there. You got Orr, you got White, you got Williams. Williams isn't as tall, but you got some speed with him, and they get behind the secondary a little bit. They can go a long ways.
You hope from the Wisconsin perspective that that's a huge mistake by Lloyd Carr. 3rd and 15 with time. Stocko looks, comes near side. Brandon Williams. It's read by Michigan, and he'll get the 37. Almost back to the original line of scrimmage, and it brings up 4th and 11.
Yeah, I think that he was just dragging across the middle there. If he hit him on stride, he can turn up the field. But good coverage downfield on Daniels, White, and Orr. They might have just been trying to do some clearing routes to free that up for Williams. But Stocko didn't have any place to go other than there.
And DeBush will come on to punt. The line of scrimmage is the 36. And DeBush, a great directional punter. You'd think he'd go to the far sideline as the ball is on the near hash. But wherever he's most comfortable, trying to pin him deep. He'll loft it high and down the middle. Now you need coverage on it. It bounces, and the Badgers are going to pin Michigan deep. What a great punt by Ken DeBush, and wonderful coverage downfield. Zach Hampton puts it down at the Michigan 3.
Zach Hampton down there, and then Jarvis Minton as well. 2 sure-handed players for the Badgers. Perfect job. Did the same thing last week against North Carolina. He's done that time and time again in his career. Pinned inside the 10-yard line, even the 5-yard line, and they call it the picket fence. Just line yourself up, locate the ball, and when it drops, make sure you can react to it, and that's exactly what Hampton did. Perfect play, perfect coverage by the punt unit.
5:11 to play in this one, and the Badgers trail Michigan by 4. It's 20-16. Let's talk about Badger hockey coming up. In 2 weekends from now, Wisconsin will open the season at the Kohl Center on October the 7th and 8th against St. Lawrence. The Saints come to town, and you can catch the games right here on Wisconsin Public Television. Broadcast both nights at 10:30 with Aaron Sims and Ronnie Vincent.
As much as I enjoy watching Badger hockey. Sitting here in September, it's hard to feel that with the weather we have right now, isn't it?
Yeah, I get that. You know, Wisconsin went the third quarter again without giving up a touchdown. Haven't allowed a point in the third quarter this year now through 4 games. Badgers have outscored their opponents in the fourth quarter by 8. If we can just match that average in the fourth quarter here and outscore Michigan by 8 in the fourth.
You know, and the other thing, when you talk about Wisconsin now allowing that, Michigan hasn't been real good at scoring in the third quarter either. They've only put up 3 points on the year, and even in the fourth quarter, they've been able to rack a few other things up. But again, both teams haven't faced the talent that each one of these have up until this point. Michigan in Notre Dame, and a tough loss that they had there, but third quarter, Wisconsin has come out and made those changes.
Nelly, how aggressive do you get here at the 3-yard line with Wisconsin's defense?
I think your secondary and your linebackers have to be real conscious of what's going on because of the trick play that, you know, they ran before. Your front four, if you're sending one of the linebackers, those are the guys that you let loose and you turn loose, but they got to understand, if this is my lane, if I'm playing between the guard and tackle or tackle center or guard center gap, that's where I've got to be. But you can turn those guys loose, but you got to be real careful they don't try some trick play down even this deep in their own end zone.
Kevin Grady is the tailback, still waiting for the go-ahead from the referees to get the action back underway. Grady, the tailback behind Henny, brings a man in motion. Grady gets it, and he'll get a yard, maybe 2, to the 5.
Something very simple that they call, just let them get up there, get as many yards as they can. Again, it's just more of a cushion that they have on offense that way to get guys out.
For injured Wisconsin
Jason
player.
Chapman is down on the field and trying to get up, but the Badgers will run their training staff out to Jason Chapman and see if he's okay. The 6'4" redshirt freshman from Bedford Heights, Ohio.
Looks like he's holding his left leg there. Not sure if it's a knee or just lower leg, but you see him right there in the center of your screen. Good press up there on the center. They start moving, then that's just where the pile starts to collapse. Looks like he got rolled up a little bit.
Rolled his left ankle,
yep.
It looks like.
That's the scary part, you know, not necessarily just because of the turf, but I think it can happen on grass or anywhere, but you get some big guys down there. Once they land on you, 300 pounds, your leg's not moving, you're stuck.
And that's what happened to Jamal Cooper last week on the road at North Carolina. Just got his cleats caught in the turf as he got rolled up on and ended his season with a knee injury.
Right. You never like to see guys. Now, this is the second time he's been down today. One time looked like what was a shoulder injury, this time with a lower leg, and obviously a tough kid that wants to be out in the field and play.
Chapman does get back up, but he walks awfully gingerly towards the near sideline. Big kid, 280-pound redshirt freshman. And the already thin defensive line gets a little bit thinner.
Yeah, this is
and
the
now
last
they go to
thing.
Mike Newkirk.
Yeah, the last thing that Coach Palermo wants to see or Coach Alvarez wants to see. But I tell you, Newkirk has stepped in a couple different games, has some experience now. Not green by any stretch, but this is a time when you might be a freshman, but you got to play like a sophomore.
Newkirk's another redshirt freshman from Ladysmith. And he'll step into a 2nd and 8. Now inside of 5 minutes and clock running. Grady, the tailback, gets it on the stretch to the right, and he's knocked out of bounds, which will stop the clock. And he's kept inside the 9-yard line. It'll bring up 3rd and 4.
Johnny White again showing up, driving him out of bounds, stopping him short of the first down. And I tell you, as much as the secondary struggled through the first couple games, even in the long pass that they had here with Michigan, run support, taking some pride in that. They've done a tremendous job.
Well, big play here, 3rd and 4. Michigan backed up at their own 9-yard line. Henny to throw, and he's got time. Right sideline, throws it to the bench. And Badgers do their job.
That's a tough call right there because they're on the right hash that way. They ran 3 receivers into that hash. It gets real muddled up with your linebackers and your secondary covering down there. It's a tough place to complete a pass. A lot of times you see them go to the wide side because they got a little more room. Tried to hit it in the boundary that way and incomplete. Henny had to throw it away.
Brandon Williams back deep. Good punt. Williams, fair catch at the 48. Great field position with 4:29 to play, but a good punt, 43 yards, and high enough that forces probably the league's most dangerous return man to have to call for a fair catch.
Yeah, have to do that. Brandon White blocking down on the sprinter that way. He's got some tremendous speed himself, but once you get behind the guy, like we've seen a couple different times today, blocks in the back, you got to be very careful, especially when you got a return man that dangerous. It can make one guy move. If you do that, then you're coming back again. But smart decision by Williams. Line up and play some offense now.
4.5 minutes to play. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining. Bernstein does check in as the lead fullback in front of Calhoun. Calhoun gets it and hops to the outside. Now Waiton will get the midfield strike, maybe a pickup of 2 on his 31st carry of the day.
One thing Wisconsin did on that, they brought their split receiver and put him actually on the line of scrimmage outside the tight end, which a lot of times tips to the defense that it's going to be a run. Either that or the tight end can't go out on the pass reception, but a lot of times that'll tip it that way. What that does is it creates another blocker for you on that side, the direction that you want to go.
It's 2nd and 8. And Stocko will bring Daniels to the near side. He'll give to Calhoun. Calhoun makes one-man miss, now through the hole and up to the 44 of Michigan. It's 2 yards shy of the mark. It'll bring 3rd and 2 into play.
You get solid blocking again there by Craig Urbick and Jason Palermo. And then you got Owen Daniels coming over and sealing off on the outside linebacker. Creates the seam for Calhoun to run through. Corner, recognizing what was happening, stepped up into the alley there and brought him down for the tackle.
Inside of 3:20, this is a large play for Wisconsin. They need to get just inside the 42. Stocko gives to Calhoun on the weight. Calhoun will get the mark and a first down.
You got the whole offensive line pulling basically a stretch play for him off the left-hand side, but Calhoun didn't even get out to his lineman that way. He saw a gap, knows what he needs for a first down. He cut up to his right, straight up the middle that way, and just decided to go.
Yeah,
even 3 Michigan guys coming at him.
Calhoun's got the freedom to take himself out when he's winded, and he does come out on this first down play. I'm sure that, you know, that you've got to give him the freedom to be able to do that, but inside of 3 minutes, I'm sure that Barry would prefer he's on the field.
Yeah, and I think he'll get back out there pretty quick. I don't have any doubt about that.
1st and 10 at the 41. Stocko fakes to Booker and looks deep on the left. He's got his man, Brandon Williams, at the 31. Forward progress will be the 32-yard line.
You know, I even think, Mike, they're about a yard short from where he actually caught that ball. I thought he was more at the 31, then got knocked back. But Brandon Williams does a little in route that way and then does a comeback. Knows where he's at, catches it, number 13, brings him down, but I think they're about a yard short on that spot.
Grant Mason with a solid tackle, but it leaves Wisconsin just a yard shy of the first down as we approach 2 minutes. Badgers need to get the end zone. They're down 4. Calhoun back as the tailback behind Bernstein. Calhoun gets it. He's short, though. It'll be 3rd and less than a yard as the clock ticks down at 1:45, and they get a little impatient in the big house tonight.
You got Brandon White coming down and make a block. He just couldn't get inside number 31 there for Michigan. Engelman makes the play on that, but Calhoun's got to sometimes read that. A guy coming in, you got a receiver on your outside that's able to block, maybe bounce it outside, but he knows it's short yardage.
Badgers need less than a yard. Calhoun will get the first down and plenty more inside the 25 to the 23 and out of bounds with 1:18 to play.
And this is not getting any easier by any stretch, but I'll tell you what right now is happening, Mike. This offensive line is taking some pride. They're like, hey, we got 1 yard to get. We struggled in some short yardage situations, but they're getting out there, they're pulling, they're blocking the men that they're supposed to block, and Calhoun is reading it and simply getting upfield.
And they're running the clock with 1:10 and now 1:08 to play. Badgers with 2 timeouts remaining, and the ball's on the Michigan 23. And they'll go to the air. Stocko has time. Over the middle, Calhoun beats one tackler to the 15, and he's yanked down from behind at the 13-yard line. Got to stop the clock here to see if it's a first down. And they do with 49 seconds to play. Oh, Barry signaling for a timeout from the sideline. I don't know if you want to take
Official
it yet.
timeout for a measurement.
They're going to measure, and that affords Wisconsin the opportunity to figure out what they want to do. The Badgers have 2 timeouts left. Nelly, they've got to get the end zone.
Yeah, what they ought to do right now is, hey, this is our play we're going to run. Get back in the huddle, make sure things are going so when they do know if it's a first down or not, they can react to it. But I don't think you want to burn a timeout right here. If you can get on the line of scrimmage and go for it.
You're right, and it is just short of the first down, which is actually a good thing.
Yep.
It's going to be just shy, so Wisconsin will huddle up right now, and hopefully they'll be ready to go. Calhoun gets yanked down from behind there. Otherwise, he would have had a first down and a stoppage of the clock because he would have been out of bounds.
Yep. Dave Harris, inside linebacker, running down Calhoun. You don't see too many linebackers can run him down, but it's a safety valve that Stocco went to. Real close here for a first now.
Calhoun is split in a slot to the left. You do have the opportunity to run it here and get the first down because you would stop the clock if you get it. But Bernstein's the only back in the backfield. Calhoun slotted to the top. Stocco will throw. And he goes Calhoun left side. First down at the 10 to the 5. And it's a first down and a stoppage of the clock with 38 seconds to go. It's first and goal at the 4.
Now here's your timeout, I think.
And the Badgers take a timeout.
Wisconsin, their second.
This is good on twofold, Mike, I tell you, because you got your first down. You go with all this stuff, and at the 5-yard line, you might want to have one more left. This gives you a chance to rest a little bit and regroup. That's the only thing that I see good on it. Otherwise, they'll line up, maybe spike it, do something.
Yep, I'm not a coach, but I don't know if I'd have used it there.
Yeah.
Because your success has been running the football.
Right.
And if you're going to run the football down here, the clock rolls, and you've only got one chance now to stop it.
Yeah, and the only thing that's good with this is you get a chance to regroup, get your guys some water, let them rest a little bit because they've been chugging and chugging and chugging down the field like this, especially your offensive linemen. If you are going to pass, you got to have the protection. They got to be ready to go. If you're going to run it, you got to make sure that those guys that they've been pulling, they've been running an awful lot tonight in a battle royal out there. And I'll tell you, Michigan's going to come at them. They're not going to be shy. I don't think they're going to sit back in the zone. They got to be ready to pick up a lot of misdirection stuff.
Barry Alvarez has never beaten Lloyd Carr. And against the Big Ten, the only team Barry Alvarez has not beaten at least 5 times is Michigan. He's beaten them twice. He'd love to beat him 3 times.
Yeah, this would be a nice way for him to go out his last year coaching that way against a quality program and a quality coach.
And the Badgers on the field asking for a little quiet in the stands. This is an intelligent group of people in the stadium. They know when to be a little bit quiet. I'm sure they'd love to explode, but it would need to happen after a play.
Bernie's coming out. You got Daniels and Orr and Williams, Calhoun.
And Daniels lined up as a fullback, now goes slot right.
Right off Poziak's corner there.
First and goal at the 5. Stocco will throw. He's got time, and it's batted at the line of scrimmage. It's incomplete. The fortunate thing there is the ball actually went up in the air. It falls harmlessly to the ground, and the clock stops.
Yep. That's not. I'll tell you. I think that was pretty good, or pretty lucky that got knocked down, because where he was throwing, there was a few linebackers and a few safeties back there waiting for the receiver to come through. He was going to have to thread a needle on that throw.
Incomplete, and second down at the 5. They've done most of this damage on this drive and in the second half on the ground. Calhoun with 35 for 155 yards. But with 1 timeout left, you probably only get 1 shot to run it. They're going to throw it again on second. Stocco goes to the corner of the end zone. It's batted away and incomplete. He wanted Jonathan Orr.
And that's all on Stocco right there. He's got to get it up, let Orr go up and get after it, because he underthrew that one, gave the defensive back a chance of knocking that down. With Orr, you got to get it up. You got to give him a chance to do it.
Now Stocco comes to the sideline and gets a call from Alvarez and Horton. There's the throw.
It's not a bad choice to go that way, but you got Orr, who's got room in the back corner. Throw it to the corner, let him go get it. That he just underthrew. That's on him.
Well, now with 1 timeout left, you still have the option to run it. And they've run it so darn well. You'd hate to get 4 shots here and all of them be in the air and come away empty. Stocco under Raiola. He'll throw. It's a quarterback draw. To the 2. To the 1. And a touchdown! Oh, touchdown!
I'll tell you, at this point right now, as much as these fans are erupted, players got to compose themselves. First things first, get your extra point because that's going to set you apart by 3.
Big extra point here by Taylor Melhoff with 24 seconds on the clock. There's Stocko picking and weaving for the touchdown, but this is the big one. And it's good.
Right down the middle. I'll tell you, for Stocko, who's not known for run, gutsy call, something Michigan probably never, ever expected. They're watching for the receivers. They're watching for Calhoun slip out the outside. When he did that, linebacker went with him, and that opened up a gap for Stocko
and
to run.
It's where having the one timeout in reserve makes that play call possible.
Yeah, you got 2 chances at that, and if somebody does get him down, you're probably at the 2-3 yard line, a little bit closer than what you were, but you got a chance to get after it. But gutsy call, Stocko.
And a good run.
Oh, absolutely. Stocko knowing exactly where he had to go. Using did you see that? Using the official there as a little extra blocker. And, hey, you do what you got to do when you get across that line.
And it's a touchdown and a Wisconsin lead at 23-20.
Yep.
With 24 seconds to play.
Offensive line with Raiola blocking downfield that way. You got Jason Claremont pounding his kid. You get 76 Matt Lawrence with a pancake block. Guys doing exactly what they had to do to give room for Stocko to run.
And you know what you need here. You need this ball to go in the end zone.
Oh, yeah. There's
you
no question.
don't want Breston to have a chance for the spectacular.
Yep. Put
you
it
want
deep.
Michigan to have to go 60 yards in the air with 2 timeouts left and make them kick a long field goal and get a stop.
Yeah, put it deep and let 80,000 people erupt for this thing because they're ready. They're chomping at the bit to help out.
Melhoff hits it. Line drive to the corner. Get in the end zone. It does. Oh, that's nerve-wracking because if that goes out of bounds, Michigan gets it at the 40.
Yeah, and he didn't clear that by much into the end zone that way, but very lucky, but smart to kick it away from, and just much like DeBusch does when he's punting, directional kicking like that was huge.
Well, and you know that Michigan does